So I want to know from the Capitol Hill police, what is it? Is it just white people? Or is it Donald Trump supporters? Why do you scream at people for walking across the street 3 blocks away from the Capitol? Why are you known as badasses around the Capitol? But then Trump supporters come in and you open the fucking doors for them. You open the doors for them and let them breach the people's house. What is wrong with you? I also want to know, are we a nation of laws? Are we a nation of one man? Donald J. Trump called for the insurrection against the United States of America. He called for it. Rudy Giuliani called for combat justice just an hour or two before this happened. Donald Trump Jr. said, "We are coming for you." That's insurrection against the United States of America. And if Donald Trump Jr., Rudy Giuliani, and Donald Trump are not arrested today for insurrection and taken to jail and booked, and if the Capitol Hill police do not go through every video and look at the face of every person that invaded our Capitol, and if they are not arrested and brought to justice today, then we are no longer a nation of laws, and we only tell people they can do this again. And guess what? This is what I've been saying about Oregon, about Portland for months. For months.
Welcome to the sedition edition of Brothers and Buddhas. Welcome back, Doug.
Yeah, what a week to come back, huh?
Yeah, at least I have an optimal wit for a not optimal week.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic beer. Any of you guys, all you guys should know about Port City. Doug, you had this, I believe the last time we were on this little screen here on the little screens.
You would be correct. What do you think of it?
I think it's fantastic. I think everything that Port City does, they can do no wrong in my eye. Maybe they do, but I'm not too close to be that even critical. But of all the things that I've had from them, they're fantastic. I'm not a wit beer fan, but this is wonderful. Light, everything is like it's subtle. It's not in your face.
Mm-hmm.
You can drink this in the morning. You can drink it at night. You can drink it. So, what do you have?
I'm actually starting with a beer from our guest we're going to be introducing soon.
Sweet.
This is The World is Flat from Three's Brewing. It's an English extra.
Kind of appropriate.
A wingnut conspiracy beer. Awesome.
Kind of appropriate for, where we're at. I thought it was, addressing the cook that opened this joint tonight. Everybody's freaking out, Doug.
Yeah, we were. Still am.
People can't even. I've heard fucking on national TV. I've heard bullshit. I've heard blowjob. I've heard, what were the other ones I heard?
Doesn't even matter. Like, at this point, imagine we've all been locked down for freaking going on a year. And if you have kids and you're homeschooling and then there's all this other shit going on, job insecurity. If your kids haven't heard all the words at this point, then I don't know what you're doing.
Oh, yeah. Well, the kids, right. I can care less about the kids. I'm just more like, man, like
I could care less about the kids.
Care less about the kids. That should be something that's here we go.
There we go.
Look at that. We're saying the quiet shit out loud.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, look at that beautiful beer. What's going on there? Casey's having technical difficulties. I'm sorry. Casey's having technical difficulties for everybody. We'll go on here, Doug.
So this is really nice. It's called an English Extra. Now, I haven't had a whole lot of those. Welcome to IT, Casey.
Right.
So this is really, really good. It just really just hits the spot. It's not heavy. Obviously, it's got that nice, not even lager. It's like almost a mix between like a lager and a wit. Like it's even hazy like that. But really smooth, not hoppy. This is the kind of thing that you would go to the bar after work and have 2 or 3 of those and feel good. I think it might be extra special bitter, but it's not bitter. Even though the bitter part, when you hear extra special bitter, isn't really super bitter. But no, this is really super duper drinkable. So I really enjoyed this one.
That's a throw off too. So let's bring our friend from the north. What's up, Casey?
What's up, Casey?
Sorry, guys, for a second there, but I'm good now. I'm here. Oh, okay.
What you got in the glass for this crazy ass week?
So far, nothing. I also have some beers from our guest. I think some of them are just very apropos. I was gonna start with the Threes Brewing I Hate Myself because I felt it was just completely on point.
Yeah, I gotta hear. Now you put that song in my head, but we're not gonna start singing because again, we don't want to have to pay for this. But that Joan Jett song, yeah, Joan Jett, Doug. I hate myself. Don't sing
myself for loving you. Right. Don't get the black hearts.
Yeah, I got another kind of man. We've been hitting all the appropriate songs this week, and we're already 5 minutes in.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we do.
FYI, we do not own any rights to any songs.
Right. Drinking bourbon tonight. Am I in the wrong place? No, you are not.
No, Brett, you are not, man.
Absolutely not.
That is good.
Drink on. What's going on?
Very drinkable. So it's India Pale. I Hate Myself.
Okay.
6.8. Wow.
Ooh.
Okay, that'll be a good one. I'm very surprised by that number. But
wait, so is that's one from our guests?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's from Threes. It's the same brewery for the one I'm drinking.
Nice.
Well,
yeah.
Let's just bring them on then.
I have a flat joke for this one.
Casey, are you done talking about yours? I'm sorry.
I'm pretty good. Yeah, I don't have any flat earther jokes for it, but it's delicious, so I'm enjoying it.
Doug, what you showing?
This is from the same brewery Casey has. Threes. So yeah.
Okay. So without further ado, we should bring on our guest who is Doug. I'm not sure you can sign off on this one, but I'm pretty sure he watches the most of our stream out of anybody. Daniel is on the stream almost every week. With all due respect to Manny, who's jumped on recently. Hey, Manny, what's going on? You got
Manny.
Shout out to Manny. Climbing Cracker.
That sounds like there's so much to be said about that.
That's a pretty apropos beer name for this show.
And I love Manny, so I don't know if this is real or not, or if this is a parody.
Well, he actually named Capital Brewery, and
right.
I just got that.
It's so much in one sentence, like.
That's beautiful.
Oh, Chris!
Anyway,
isn't that on the corner of Insurrection and Treason Boulevard? The next. Oh man,
yeah.
It's gonna be a good night, guys. It's gonna be a good night.
So, without further ado, let's bring in our guest, who is one of our biggest fans. He's always commenting, sharing our shit. Love him to death. I met him at Beer Bloggers Conference. I don't know. He'll probably remember more than me. I don't remember shit anymore, guys. So I'm not sorry. But he also was, placed a lot of good beer in our houses. So we have to give him props for that.
Sure.
So without further ado, let's bring on Dan on tap. Our friend, Dan, what's going on?
So I'll lead off with my beer too. I'm also drinking a Threes, and I think this also is apropos because we do need courage for 2021 apparently.
Yep.
This is actually a beer that was giving proceeds to the ACLU.
Oh, nice.
So also secondary reason. What? But yeah. So cheers all.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.
What kind of beer was that, Dan?
So this is a hoppy pale lager. So it's super crisp, dry, refreshing. What's up, Manning? Yeah, I want to hear more about that beer. LOL. But yeah, but this is it's crisp, dry, refreshing. There's a little bit of graininess and on it, and I'm really like loving this beer. Although I've been like on a lager kick lately. I'm an equal opportunity taster, but I've been digging lager a lot lately. So
Yeah, you sent a bunch my way. I'm gonna have a couple, and I'm with you. I'm on a lager renaissance too, and I think breweries are really doing it too. They're part of the cause because they're putting them in front of our face more than they
absolutely.
were. So yeah, I mean, for everybody who's bitching about the craft industry and all the IPAs, if you like lagers, this is a good time, right, Dan?
Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't matter what part of the country you're in. I mean, I'm sure that among everyone we know, they'd be able to name at least 5 off the top of their head, probably in their area at this point.
What's up, Al?
Hello.
What's up? We'll be doing good on your new job up there in Boston.
Yeah, man.
I'm pretty sure, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, and Aloe, we follow Aloe and his furniture.
Oh gosh, that was that made me pretty angry, man. I mean, oh my gosh, and it wasn't even me.
Tell somebody inform Casey real quick what happened with Aloe and the furniture. Dan or Doug, one of you.
So I'll do it. Van, you can fill in the gaps. But basically, I think Aloe moved back from California to the Boston area and hired a company to move his stuff. And they kept saying they were bringing it, and it was 2 months, maybe longer.
Yeah, they gave him an estimate, and then like all of a sudden they didn't know where it was, and it turns out that they said, "Oh, it'll be here soon. It'll be here sooner." Then it turns out it never left California, so it was like it's just the worst. I mean, these people apparently have a very bad track record, but like, I mean, you have one job, people. Point A, point B. It's not. It shouldn't be rockets. It's not logistics, rocket science. Like you're distributing 10,000 packages from Amazon, right? So.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Sorry to hear that.
Alice says too soon.
All right, Alice. If it was in on it, we wouldn't have had to say anything. But I'm just ill-informed, so now I'm on it, and I feel for you. And actually, it's side story, but my wife and I almost broke up when we were still dating because of furniture, because she had an antique that I was moving into the house, and she didn't hire movers, so it was me and my best friend moving it in, and we like chipped a little corner on the back of it, and the back was gonna be to the wall so no one could see it. And she got really, really mad at me. I think we were dating like 2 years by that point. I went home mad, and we stayed together, but it was a problem.
Wow,
it was a problem.
Wow.
Yeah.
Furniture can be Alice's 2.5 months after 2 weeks.
That's it. 2.5.
God.
Unreal. Effing real.
And someone almost broke up over a sink.
The things that we lose our minds over.
That was Paige. That was Paige and Rick.
That's Paige.
Paige and Rick.
Hey. So by the way, Aloe referred to us as four gents. In light of Greg's theme at the top of the show, I think we should call ourselves New Sedition.
Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike. We're all the wrong names.
True.
So Doug, while we're here, you want to say something, or do you? Or
I made a comment in our little chat group, I think yesterday or the day before, and I was like, this show's gonna be 8 hours long because I'm still fucking furious. And Greg's like, I've known Doug a long time, and he's never mad at anything for more than a day. And I was just, I'm still fucking mad. Like it's one of those things that's like 20% of the time, like peanut butter and jelly time. So I couldn't even I couldn't believe it. I don't think any of us were completely surprised that happened, but still, holy shit. What else do you say about that?
I got something.
Yeah.
Want to see it?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, okay, we got something here. Let's see. Can y'all see that? All right, we can see it.
Get the fuck out of town! Fucking police are the pieces of shit! I know! They really destroyed our city! City, and it's like nobody gives a shit! If I was black lives matter, and I can't pull them down, that's what they have. They like these fucking crackers, and nobody got their guns!
This guy's great. I saw that that day, and I was like, that would have been me if I lived in DC. I'd have been out there yelling on my porch.
Right. I love this.
It's true.
Yeah, love that, man. Everybody loves it. Thoughts, anyone? Casey, you're gonna have to get your opinion on what the hell you can see from
Come on, neighbor.
Outside looking in.
I don't know how, like, how did the entire fabric of America collapse in on itself like a week into 2021? The entire last year we were a hot mess. We had a lot of hot messes in 2020. We know this. 2020, it's like a week, and you're like, yeah, let's go crazy. We're all like, the magnitude of which things have just gotten horrible. Like through the 45th presidency, I think everyone's just kind of like, every week you're like, it can't get much worse, right? Can it? It can't get much worse. And then it did over and over and over again. And even now, as we get into like these last gasping breaths, it's just kind of like, it can. Oh, shoot, we're doing this now. Okay. Yeah.
I just have to say, like, political wise, I just don't believe that there was a story that completely, not a better term, trumped the fact that we ditched Mitch.
Yeah.
He's fucking gone, or he's still there, but he's a little bigger of a little bitch now.
Well, he went back in his shell. He went back in his shell. That's what happened, yeah.
So the fact that we ditched Mitch was completely overridden by what these motherfuckers are doing on Wednesday. And it's just amazing how the 2020, because Casey's like, what are you people doing? Listen, it's almost a weighted scale. Over here, we ditched Mitch, and over here, we're a bunch of treasonous, seditionist assholes.
No,
I don't know how you weigh that in America, but it's going on. Excuse me?
Yeah, no, someone made a good point to me the other day that there were wins that happened in the midst of this between, the shift of power and, people, there were some very, very good things that happened in the midst of all this madness. But it's a squeaky wheel, right? The squeaky wheel gets all the attention and no one notices all the good things that are happening in the midst of this.
Casey, have you ever been to Georgia?
I have not yet.
Georgia is as big city as it is backward hick. It's really, and at this point, clearly it's literally 50-50. So for Georgia to do what Georgia did, which is A, vote for Joe Biden, and B, put these two guys up there, at the same time we have militias running over our capital, is America in a nutshell. That is us. That literally is, because people are like, this isn't America. Oh, no. This is America. It doesn't get any more America, in my opinion, than that. Thoughts, Doug or Dan?
Go ahead, Dan, you first.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. People always call us the melting pot, right? But if, like, let's say we're all different parts within the pot, we're all getting melted together. We're still different parts, and we still have different vantage points of how we see things. But the reality is, with the chef looking at it from up top, he see, well, clearly, this side of the pot, who happens to be brown or black, is getting burnt way more than everyone else, because it's straight on the heat, whereas everyone else just might be a little bit off the heat. Just saying.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh look, Moscow Mitch is gone. Ditch the bitch, Mitch. Print that
Print the
shirt.
T-shirt.
Stacey Abrams is everyone's hero.
Truth.
Yeah. That woman went from getting completely screwed out of a governorship and being like, you know what? Yeah, I'm not going to do anything except devote all my energy to just completely fucking over Republicans for what they did. And the work she and all of it wasn't just her, it was several other agencies, all women, mostly women of color, just busting their ass and registering people. It's amazing what they did, and they deserve all the credit in the fucking world.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's iron. Isn't the irony in all this wonderful? Because they should have just let her be governor. Then she wouldn't be running around defeating them the last 3 times in statewide elections. They should have just let her be governor instead of cheating her out. They made her mad, and all hell broke loose after that. And it's on them. I don't know if you saw. Did you guys see the interviews with her this week, where people were like, talking about the lieutenant governor the Secretary of State of Georgia, and how he's done such a stand-up job talking to Dump and facing him and all that. And Stacey Abrams got on here and was like, "Look, motherfuckers, like, don't be all getting on him. That's his system. He set up this bullshit, so he has to defend it in front of Dump. Like, she doesn't pull any punches, man. Like, I foresee her. I don't know if this country could elect a black woman, but if they could, that is the one. Just saying. Sorry, Kamala."
Mm-hmm. I mean, I love all the Marvel related memes they did with her. Like they put her in like a Captain America outfit. Like I saw a couple people do Photoshop, so it's pretty neat.
There's also the one where she was Lady Tyrell from Game of Thrones. Tell Donald
yes,
it was me. That was my favorite.
That was good.
I also want Eddie Monday.
Yeah.
Truth.
Oh, and Josh Hawley, that fucker can burn.
Oh, dude.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Who's ready for their second? Because it's been a week.
I already started. I decided I was going to join Doug on his World is Flat. So
yeah. That's an excellent beer.
Yeah. I think Untapped says they call it English Pale as it's registered.
Okay, so not like I think Paige mentioned she thought maybe it's an extra stout bitter, but
yeah. I mean, it's somewhere. I think it's kind of more in between because I'm getting more of those kind of like kind of bready notes that you get from like a grain notes you get from like a bitter, but it is kind of like a little bit like heavier, more structured than a bitter would basically be. But like you said, I still agree with the sessionability at 100%. I mean, this is like you go after the bar, grab it, 100%.
I had this one.
Yes.
I had that one in my fridge. I didn't bring it up.
Boo. That's my fault, not yours. Doug asked earlier in the day about matching beers, and then I said I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And
of course, I drank through all my Suarez already because the Suarez came in first. So it was like I do a lot of first in, first out kind of things, just as far as freshness is concerned. Because we all talk about it all the time. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I first got your package, I was like, I don't know if this is gonna last.
That's the thing. It's like pills and double dry hopped and all that.
Yeah,
I think Casey looks like he's frozen.
Oh yeah, look at that! I noticed that he's got a photon in his. Oh, he had a photon in his hand from Equilibrium.
Yeah,
Middletown, New York, baby.
Yeah, I get some Equilibrium here, but not a lot, which is weird because I'm not far from Middletown.
I would say you're probably closer to them than I am.
I think so. So, like, you would think we would get more of those, but we don't. Not really.
Doug, do you even pay attention on Mondays? And tell everybody what that comment is about.
Yeah.
See it there?
Oh, the fucking.
You need help, Doug?
Greg, my brain's like yours. It's just
too much.
It out of my brain. It's so easy.
It's just too much, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, answer the question.
I do. And I also talk to Jeff while we're in the middle of class, so he pays as much attention as I do. So there.
Doug, what happens on Mondays again?
We do the Cicerone class with Robert Scroggs. So his class is fucking excellent. If you could take it, it's totally worth it.
Go through a little bit.
What's that?
Go through a little bit if you can, or give us a little bit of a.
Well, so he has this thing. He's doing it over a year online, so it's not like you're getting like this condensed course. So every 2 weeks we meet. Here's the styles we're going to go over this week, and then this is this section we're going to talk about. We'll talk about malts, and we'll talk about fermenting, and then 1 week it'll be about cleaning, everything, and like it. He's very good about this is what we're going over, and here's the styles. Now, granted, his list is always like 5-6 beers deep, and this past week was like strong beers, and next week stouts, and I was like, I am not drinking 6 freaking stouts because I won't be able to make my way up my steps. So, but he always says that just drink to your comfort level. If it's something where you're just doing 2 or 3, to just fill them out during the week, and then just take note of what the notes are. And like, yeah, he is the best. Jeff, you are exactly right. He's the fucking best. Also, the only person I've ever seen shotgun 2 1050s in back to back, and one of them barrel.
That was mad special.
Yes, that is true. That's Tiff talking about that.
Nice. All right. Well, Casey's having people are Canadian is frozen literally. Casey freeze, yes.
What's like Casey freeze?
So he just poured an Equilibrium brewery Photon Pale Ale before he got frozen. There he is. He's back.
There he is.
You're honest. Wow. I was like, yes, I'm pouring the beer. Like, I got this.
Yeah, you can't leave 1 second without people wanting to know what's up. So, what are you drinking? You're taking over the whole damn show, man.
All good. Yeah, no, that was right on it. Is the Equilibrium Photon Pale Ale 4.8. My lights are real bright over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pouring it out, and I took a sip, and I was like, it tasted a little like there was like a sour note to it. And I was very surprised.
Oh, that is supposed to be there, isn't it?
Yeah. No, that might be a can issue.
No, it's. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying.
Right. I mean, it's a thing. Yeah.
I'm like,
Right.
I mean, for the record, I did send Casey some sours because he definitely needed them. So because he has the sour hiatus from the breweries up there, so he needs some sours to hold him over.
I'm scared for the next one because the one after this is the Sour Me Unicorn.
Oh
Hearts.
yes,
Q-Claw, baby.
Brewed with fruity cereal and edible glitter. So I'm saving that for last because I'm just like, I don't even know what's gonna happen. I don't even know.
You're gonna be pooping glitter the next day is what's gonna happen.
Well, Casey, we never know what the hell's going to happen. So join us. Thank you.
I feel like I'm part of the family now.
There you go. It's a crazy week when, let's see, who do we get lectured by this week, Doug? Oh, that would be Turkey lectured us on democracy. That would be the UK lectured us on democracy. That would be Canada lectured us on democracy. Didn't Iran say something too at one point?
Yep.
Oh, snap.
Like, it's like, oh wow, we've really reached a point in America. And also, Casey, there's something that you said that I forget the wording, so I don't want to. I'm gonna defer back to you on the wording after I say what I'm gonna say to make sure that you got it. But like, you said something about American imploding in front of our eyes, or something about that. Like, there's a thinking around here where people are like, oh, this isn't America, and you guys have like regressed. I wouldn't say we regressed. I would just say sunshine was put on that light on that subject more than we regressed. Like, there's this whole Barack Obama thing where we thought we were less racist than we were because we had him around. No, we were just smart to have him around because the dude was smart. Didn't matter whether he was black or not. The motherfucker is smart, and his shit is smarter than Donald Trump. So like, we got into this whole thing where we're just like, oh, like, especially people on our side of the fence got into this, oh, we're cool because America accepted a black man and America accepted a black family. and America's cool. We've moved on a little. I mean, at least it's cooler than what was going on in the 70s. And well, that's not true. And the slap in the face is needed to America. And with all due respect, Casey, one of the phenomenons I'm having down here is that I am less outraged than my white friends. My white friends
Same up here. Same up here.
My white friends are through the roof. They're still fucking pissed off. I still get messages that they're still pissed. Right. Now, it's not that I'm not still pissed, Casey, but and it's not that they don't realize either. They realized everything. In fact, that's why they're pissed.
Greg, you're tired.
Like,
you're just tired. As a black man, you're tired. You're
right.
Decades of it where it doesn't affect you. Like you basically would need a meteor to hit the country at this point to be like, okay, what the hell? Like it's the magnitude of what is needed now is just like it's so huge that you have emotions you still feeling, but they've been so trod upon from like decades that you're now at the point where you're like, it's like not that you forgot how to feel, but it's like your first reaction is just to be like, going through it, figuring out in your head and everything because you just don't have the energy left after so long dealing with it.
Right. And again, the thing about describing this feeling of mine is that I don't want to talk down on my white friends who are more angry than me. It's not even really about, because, my white friends who I'm talking about, they understand systematic racism. They understand that this place is a piece of shit. They understand that the MAGAs. They understand all that. But I'm just, for some reason, I don't feel as surprised, and I don't feel that really, I feel anger. Don't get me wrong. I don't think I'm at the level you guys are, Doug. Why is that though? Why? Because that's across the board. I think. I believe a lot of my black friends are muted a little bit, and most of my white friends are like, "Dude, I'm
211."
I
had asked you about. Do you think it's because if you're a person of color in the United States, you're just kind of used to this? You're used to getting fucking shit on, and like that's not right. I'm not saying it's right. What I'm saying is there's. That's a status quo for you guys. Like that's wrong as fuck. But that's the thing is now we're seeing this sort of this fucking bunch of lunatics just trying to. I don't like the results of the election. Well, boo fucking who? Did you think we liked the results of 2016? Like fuck off. Like
I still hate 16. I'm always hate 16.
But but if you look at like even like prior guests, man, if you look at what April and Tony are saying on Twitter, I mean that literally I think sets the tone. I think for across the board. Even and Ariana, I don't know if anyone watched her video that she did the other day. That was powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, I think you do more research for our show than I do.
Well, no, you guys find like really cool people, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to follow these people. So that's what it comes down to. So,
yeah,
blame Doug for most of that.
I just have weird interests.
So
I go all over the spectrum. So
who are you calling weird?
Well, hey man, birds of a feather, my friend.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna grab my second. Greg, did you open yours? How is that?
Yeah, this is a delightful lager, and I'm not even Hell's lager, Keller lagers. Yeah, for lagers, not that for me personally. Give me a black ale, give me something, or a black lager. But this is fucking nice, man.
Suarez, baby.
I'm just imagining like liter glasses with that.
Man, what you got, Doug?
I have to do a wardrobe change for this, so hold on.
Woohoo!
Okay.
Oh.
It's a 3D glass. Attack of the 50-foot boss.
That's awesome.
Gosh.
That is awesome.
This is from Warhorse. Dan, I don't know if you've ever had a Warhorse stuff. They make awesome beers. They make one of the best Scotch ales I've ever had. This is their barley wine.
Nice.
So obviously, because it was a fucking 3D gimmick and I'm a goddamn sucker for any sort of cool can, I bought it. So, and I'm not even like a huge barley wine fan. So we shall see.
I think you just won the show, Doug.
But I think if there's ever a week to do barley wine, this is it.
I was like, yeah, fuck this. Let's just have it.
Right.
Put in my nice Delirium Noel glass that I just got.
Nice.
I cleaned the shit out of this, and it's still dirty, folks. So apologies.
Yeah, I definitely, if anyone needs tips, hit up Scroggs, man. He'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, it's nice color.
Hey, man, by all accounts, that's a super nice guy. He's just weird. So, hey, whatever. So it doesn't look as super dark. Like for me, barley wines are usually a little thicker, not thick, but like a little more opaque. Just I can actually see through almost. Not much on the nose, which is surprising.
I wonder if it's like more English or American. Now I'm wondering.
I'm wondering because it definitely tastes more like English barley wine than it does for American barley wine. It's not nearly as sweet. There's lots of character to it, but it's not like I usually barley wines. It's like it rides that line where it's almost like cloying for me. This is definitely more like an English barley wine to me, but it's surprisingly drinkable. Where a lot of barley wines for me they're freaking sippers because I just can't drink them. This is really quite lovely. I'm surprised. I may have to send you one of these, Dan, because I have a 4-pack. So I'll show you.
Yeah, I don't know if I have any 3D glasses handy, but I may have to track one down.
Well, when I was looking it up, because I had to look up the glasses, and they just basically, I think, just like this kind of glass, or it was some sort of different kind of wine glass. But
oh, really?
Yeah. So it's not even that they didn't suggest a tulip, but like basically a large tulip will do too.
Well, I was talking about these glasses.
Oh, those goggles. Sorry.
Yeah, but
same, need to drink more of it.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
All right. Let's catch up on the comments here quick before we move on to my. I'm gonna
grab my next one. I'll be right back.
All right. So let's see here. So Obama is sexy hot.
That's a given. That's a given.
I completely, totally agree.
Right? No one's debating that.
Yeah, he said it, and we agreed. I don't know. Did you see him this week out paddling in Hawaii?
No, I did not, but I'm not surprised. I love it.
Hot. Anyway, yep. Let's see. Manny agrees. America
Revealed, not
regressed. Let's see here. I think he backed it up with, what did he say here? Let's see.
It's funny though, because like I think people kind of know like the surface level of the story when it comes down to just how messed up a history that both Canada and the US have, to be honest. And for me personally, it wasn't until we did The Last Dad 2 in DC, and I went to the the National Museum of African American History and Culture, and I just soaked it all in. And I was just kind of like, I came out of there just kind of like, what? Why is everything so bad? Like, why is it so horrible? But it just like it hadn't really sunk in until you're like faced with it, and you go for like 6 hours and like read up on everything and listen to it all. You're like I spent the next week just like reflecting after that. So revealed, not regressed is a very apropos statement.
Absolutely. What else? So Dan, you have your third or your second? Or?
Yeah, this is my third. Yeah, this is my third. So, I understand that Paige and Rick have been making comments. So I thought, well, this is Daddy Porter's in the house, so I have to have a porter, and I actually happened to get one from Paige and Rick. So I thought I would open this one out. This is Summit's Great Northern Porter.
Ooh.
So I mean, I
I know that one. Okay.
Yeah, so I was feeling this tonight. Basically, I'm happy because during this exchange that we have going on with a lot of people out there, and a great big thank you to the unofficial sponsor, Whale Pod Shivers, for this one basically. But I'm getting some porters coming in, so it's been nice. So it's like I can't complain. So definitely leaving up to the nice kind of super dark brown. Kind of a tannish head here. Oh yeah, dude, I'm getting roast, the chocolate right off the nose here. A little bit toasted bread too.
Mm. Mm.
That really hits the spot. I mean, for me, I mean, I this is the kind of like night. It was like in the 30s most of the day. It was like high 20s, like super this morning when I put my son on the bus. So yeah, this is definitely hitting the spot for me. So thank you, Paige and Rick.
Cheers to Paige and Rick.
Yeah, they when they sent me a box of stuff, Jesus, it was like everything I had was excellent.
Man, I relate to the sink story. This week, the lady and I had gotten back and forth over furnace. So there you go.
Furnace. Oh, furnace could be a thing. Furnace could be
Yeah.
a thing.
Furnace, it's a big thing.
During the winter, yeah.
Oh, and it just went off the rails. Like as soon as the problem presented itself, it just immediately went off the rails. It was like, oh, okay, this was Monday, Casey. So this is before the world went off the rails. So
Yeah.
But again, we had Tuesday in there. Let's not forget it's still there. We ditched Mitch. I didn't think it was going to happen. We put another black senator. Casey, in our long ass history, we've had 11 black senators.
That's it.
I just love like the legacy that both of them represent. I mean, for me, that was just like super poetic and super awesome on so many different levels.
Dan, is that all Sammy Sosa's corpse behind you?
Yeah, if only. Actually, this is actually a print that was bought for my wedding. And there's an art. So for those of you who don't know, my wife, she is the administrator of an art gallery in Chelsea here in the city. And if anyone's going to go in there, hit them up. That's Gallery Henoch, Henoch. But yeah, so this is a print that was bought by the one of the other employees over there at the gallery. So it was very kind of them to do this because as much as I'm primarily into beer and maybe whiskey mostly, but at the same time, basically we're I also do dabble into wine here and there. I was a Vaniac, when Wine Library TV was out all the time. So been there, done that. So
excellent. We didn't prep you for this, but if anybody should know this, it would be you, Dan. It is time. It is time for our sponsor. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I'm not because I don't even have the damn
banner.
Yeah, whatever. So anyway, you know what to do. Now it's time for the sponsor. Casey, shut it.
Yeah. So a little bit about me for those who don't know me personally, basically. So I'm Daniel Fisher, aka Dan on Tap. So it matches up with my one of my main sites, lifeontap.com. So been blogging video, audio for a while. Slowly but surely, finally getting back to doing some of many recorded back episodes on that front, basically. And I'm going to make the first announcement here, basically, about this. But I am going to be part of a new podcast that will be launching shortly as well. More details to come. I will post it on all the different channels out there. But there will be another podcast coming down the pike. This is an audio podcast. But yeah, so it'll be very. We're affectionately calling it the least important podcast on the internet. But yeah, so it's gonna be fun. Couple college buddies of mine came together over beers. Surprise, and then it was born out of that, basically. So, but yeah, so that front. But in all seriousness, what I really want to talk about, and for those of you who do follow me or follow Paige and Rick, I did a little unboxing video from their box, which included the Great Northern Porter I'm drinking right now out there. And you may have heard me harp over and over again, but we're all dealing with different levels of COVID everywhere. I know that friends of the group, Charlie, my heart goes out to him out there in Dakota land, as they call it. But in all seriousness, please, 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 please support your local breweries and your favorite local restaurants out there any way you can. Order from them, tip like a motherfucker, buy gift cards if you can, because we've already seen in my area for sure, basically a huge drop off across the board. Not so much from the brewery standpoint on our side, our neck of the woods, basically, because again, our regulations here in the city are way less than most people are. Everyone and their mother is doing delivery or pickup basically across the board within the 5 boroughs, in some cases beyond. They're making pickup stations all around New York, so to speak. So it's I'm very fortunate, but I can't say that 90% of the rest of the country isn't the same level of fortunate. So my one thing, please do that. Save those breweries, save those restaurants, basically, because honestly, they might not be there tomorrow. I mean, I have a place local to me. For those of you who are not senior citizens and watch NCIS, basically, you might be familiar with Polly Perrette. She co-owned a bakery up here, which is literally 2 blocks away from me here, and they make the freaking most amazing cheddar biscuit breakfast sandwiches, and they're gone. So, I will never ever have that amazing stuff from them. And it's I blinked and they were gone. It's all of a sudden 12, I think it was the 20th of December. All of a sudden, poof, we're done. But it's whatever you can do, please do it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ooh.
River Commerce said what? They're estimating a 70% closure rate up here.
Yep.
When it comes down to the restaurant industry and everything. And so I have my favorites, and I have people who I love to support, and I'm trying to do as much as possible, because you're right. You think that yourself as an individual consumer can only do so much, and there's some validity to that, but at the same time, if everyone thinks that, you take it for granted, and all of a sudden they're going to be closing up shop because everyone thinks that their little bit doesn't make a difference, but it really, really does. Mm-hmm. And so if you believe, or if you have a favorite place, if your favorite places you want to see stick around past all this madness, you got to put the money where your mouth is right now, because otherwise it's going to be looking very different tomorrow.
And there's another thing, if you want to follow, you want to note this out there, basically there's a bunch of the NYC hospitality people. They've been doing this series on Instagram called Good Morning Cuomo. So I would definitely recommend looking at some of those vignettes, because there's a lot of really interesting restaurants and bars out there. There's a beer-centric hospitality group that works out of mostly Queens, and they did a feature this past week, or 2 weeks ago, rather, I should say, and 100% on the mark. It's listen, you don't know how it is on the ground here. You're basically, the state liquor authority is basically making decisions saying, oh, by the way, no one can come inside to use your bathroom because God forbid you get infected. Meanwhile, when you look at the stats and the tracking, bars and whatnot, only 1.5% of cases. Most of the cases out there, private gatherings. Just saying. Science, people.
Yeah.
Yep. And I had a quick comment, but I completely forgot. Oh, that's what it was. So what happens is a lot of these closings happen, and then people are like, well, I wouldn't, if I would have known, I would have, no. We're way past that point. And there's a lot of, knowing a lot of brewery owners, I haven't spoke to them directly on this, but one thing, there's a lot of things that are going on is pride. And I think pride stops a lot of these owners from saying, hey, if you motherfuckers don't come here, we're going to close. I think that there's a lot of pride to put that out on Facebook, or because them closing is, a lot of them, is failure on their part. And to me, unless you came into this pandemic failing, if you fail because of this pandemic, that's not on you. But a lot of them feel it is. And a lot of them, especially if this is a long-term, dream type, my dream was to own my brewery. My dream was to own my distillery. So to come out in the public and say, look, I need y'all help, that's just a lot for them to do. So like Dan is saying, and Casey was saying, you just got to go do it, especially your favorite places. And we've done this. We've been really mindful about this in this house. which is what are our favorite places. We're just going to go out of our way to do takeout, even if we don't feel 100% safe. We got to do something. There has to be a mediation point to where you can be safe and you can still support. And on that note, Doug,
Pass the hot potato.
drop that.
Well, there is a bit of a caveat to that. I agree with all of it. And the caveat is this, and I'm going to point to our friend Carla. She was talking about, and this summer, my family went to Maine, and we basically quarantined in a house in Maine. We just drove up, and we were like, we're staying here. I'm the only one going out and getting stuff. Everybody else stay here. And basically, when we went on some hikes because we could distance, and then we went up there, and she warned me of this place called Sunday River Brewing. All right, Dan knows where I'm going with this.
Yep.
That brewery is run by a person who Antimask, never publicly was like a pro-Trump person, but all the earmarks. And yeah, that's a little presumptuous, but I don't think I'm all that far off on it.
It quacks like a duck.
Yeah. So basically, they just were flaunting the mask rules and all the COVID regulations, and then someone came in and an inspector came in and flagged them and shut them down. They reopened. They did the exact same thing. So the guy wouldn't pay the fines. So basically, the place where the state refused to renew their license for sell alcohol. So that's how the state decided to deal with them. So if you're one of those places, one, I'm not going anywhere near your place. Two, don't support those places
Right.
because, as you mentioned, Dan, science. Sometimes you just got to follow the science. I don't know. Hey, Casey, I want to ask you, do you see a lot of that sort of anti-mask shit up there? Because we see that shit fucking here everywhere.
Ooh. So yeah, everyone thinks we're all like nice and friendly up here. We had a huge story for a while about Adam Skelly, who runs a place called Addison Barbecue up here. And this dude was like, we had like right now, the state of Toronto right now is that, non-essential everything is closed. Grocery stores, food places are open, and schools are down. Like everything's basically like, for the most part, everything's home unless you need to go out and get groceries and gas. And this dude was like, no, there's not a real problem. I'm going to open my barbecue. And like, basically he formed a rallying cry. I think he had a GoFundMe that raised something like $1 million in a day just for people who were supporting his anti-masking cause. And it got crazy. And like, it was like the entire time I'm over here just kind of like, I wanted to try your food before, but now I know you're bad shit insane. So I can't. And so and he got shut down by like health regulations, all that kind of stuff, because we're not it's no joke. Like we are very clear on that. But he got like basically anyone who was a piece of shit and wanted to be an anti-masker and let their anti-masker flag fly. They rallied under his cause, and it became this entire movement for like all of a week where everyone's just like, this is a problem. Like this is a serious issue. But yeah, now they're done and it's over and we're all happy because it was crazy.
Their barbecue sauce featured trumpet mushrooms.
That was well put.
Really?
Yeah, Canada is not immune. It's not immune to the madness. We have enough people. Actually, even early on, we had people who were like straight up like trying to have scientific proof that that COVID wasn't a real thing, and would like come up with like 50-minute long videos of like, here's a science of why you're wrong. And we're like, so yeah, let's look at death rates and see like what's going on out there. But they just conveniently gloss over that stuff.
My favorite thing here in America is, sorry, Doug, and I'll get you here. My favorite thing in America is people saying that, screaming at CNN is fake news, while their evidence is a YouTube video. I love it. Only in America. Doug, what did you got?
I was just going to make the remark that unrelated but related is I had to go pick up dinner stuff at Wegmans, which is a grocery store near us. And Yeah, masked up. Generally, most people there are pretty good about it. You see some wing nuts there, but this one guy comes down and is doing the dick nose thing with his mask, and he hand wrote with Sharpie.
What did you call it?
The dick nose.
I just wanted to make sure.
So and he had it over his mouth, but not over his nose, and handwritten in red and blue Sharpie was, what the fuck did he say? It was like, for show. Meaning like, this is just for show.
Wow.
I was like, you dick nose.
Can I show you guys a mask? I'm going to show you guys a mask from my friend Alex at Clippo Mask. She sent it over when I was doing my gift guide. And
oh, that's cute. I love it.
So on point, right? See?
Okay.
That's awesome. That's cute.
We need to find out where to order those.
Yeah.
I'll drop you guys a link. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
She has a crew of people who puts them together, and I was just like, this is so on point for me. So I do enjoy the fact that I can like accessorize. Yeah, see? Hey, you got all the cool stuff, Dan. I need to go hang out with you more often after this.
See, this is what I call them. I call these people Facebook epidemiologists. That's what they are. They're like, all of a sudden I'm an expert because I read, an article about for someone who's not an MD, because I'm an expert now.
Or again, my favorite is I go to click this YouTube thing, and I'm like, I know I'm on YouTube, and I don't know shit, so you don't know shit, but I do know.
Estimation.
Another style that is not my favorite, but I am learning to love all beers, and we don't see enough of them. What do you say, Dan?
Never. Like I mean, like the only alt beer other than the German styles that like are out there, like few and far between. I think the closest I've gotten to an alt beer next to estimation has been a Rockin beer from I think it was Flagship in Staten Island. That's the closest I've gotten, as far as non-German styles are concerned.
I've never even seen a Rockin beer.
What's that?
I've never even seen a Rockin beer. I've seen alt beers around, but not a Rockin beer.
Rockin beer is again, there's certain like styles out there that are nearly impossible to find. So Rockin beer is one of them. Grodzisky, and this is where like I would call on the power of Scrogs here to help me out here. Because there's at least two or three other styles I'm sure out there that like are like Patter's beer, like would never ever be seen. So it's like alt beer is one of them.
And Scroggs knows a shit ton about German beers and German styles and all these kind of obscure beer styles, and just like I said, his class excellent. Anybody could take it, fucking take it. It's worth it.
Have you guys gone over all beers on that yet?
We did once. Now the thing is, some of them overlap depending on the style. So you'll see some of them overlap. We've had Rausch beer once.
Ooh.
Which is not something that like Greg and I are both like, but it's one of those things where you drink it, and if somebody does it well, you go, okay, well, it's good for the style. Oh, there we go.
There you go. Alt set. There you go. So if you listen to a recent podcast from Beervana, Jeff Elworth over there in the Pacific Northwest, he is a staunch believer in you have to have 3 Schlenkerlas before you really taste Schlenkerla, because the first beer is like, okay, this is so much smoke, it's off-putting. I'm like inhaling an ashtray, but you're not really going to get those deeper nuances until you're basically 2 or 3 beers in. So I haven't tested this hypothesis, but again, if I really have more than one Rausch beer, but if I was to have that Rausch beer, I feel like I almost believe that kind of notion, but
I don't think that saying is going to catch on, though. Like, you need to have 3 Schlenkerlas before you taste it.
Well, I mean, then again, April Fool's Day. I can't remember what year it was, but John Hall did a parody called the number one podcast, beer podcast, is called This Week in Rausch Beer. It was an April Fool's thing he did, and it was hilarious because they pretended as if Rausch beer was the number one style in the world, and it was hilarious.
What would be more funny is if someone created a podcast and just like talked about this obscure beer style that only one brewery makes, and it's in like Liechtenstein, and like everybody was like chasing it, and it wasn't real.
Yeah. No, I mean, anyone can do it. It's like, I do a Wallenstein double. You know, it's like what, you know, it's like
you just flip that shit right out.
Yeah,
You know what I appreciate right now? I appreciate that I just saw Greg look over the comments and do a little chuckle to himself because it's crazy over there.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
Like
Right.
all over the place.
This is the one I was laughing at.
Yeah. Oh God, I wish I saw that earlier.
And you started a phenomenon, Doug.
It's
Take
got
notes.
And it's better than having a nose dick.
Yes.
That depends.
Well,
Well, is this when I quote the Digital Underground at this point? You know, because in a 69 my humpy nose will tickle your ear.
Yeah.
don't.
Right, so,
Anybody have another beer to open?
I do. I have to go get it.
yeah, I have another one. I think Casey's ready. You just freaking pounded that one there, man. So let's see it. Oh, is that the sour me?
yeah.
All right, man. Let's go here.
All right, let's. Whoa, shoot! Wow.
Woo! Look at the head on that
Whoa.
shit. Jesus.
Whoa.
That's
Holy
what she
crap! What am I drinking?
This Week in Rauch Beer is a fun Facebook group. Huh.
Yeah. So the one that Dan was mentioning is one that is. I think it's. I want to say it's Polish. That they're famous for their smoked beers, and he's right. Like you drink one of them, it's just like. That's
Right.
Woo! Look at that. All right, we'll wait a half hour till that head goes down.
Drink it. I'll just make it. It's gonna
Yeah,
go.
do it.
Wait. You're gonna wait a half.
Your mustache.
Did I just hear you say you're gonna wait a half hour for head?
Mm-hmm. I'd wait a half hour for head.
I'm just asking what I heard. I'm not judging or you're your own man. You can do what you want. I'm just making sure that's what I heard. What is it? Oh, this is that sour beer, isn't it?
Is the glitter in here? Where's the glitter? Where's the glitter go?
It's like as if you could see into the can when your eyeball is an inch away from the opening. All that head. There you go. That's better.
I'm not seeing my glitter. That's okay. I'll be.
So you're not getting any glitter? Is there any in the glass?
Not that I'm seeing. I'm just seeing a sour beer, and it's slightly sour. It's good.
But it doesn't sound like it lived up to expectations.
I was expecting like a shiny, shimmery beer that would make me poop glitter for days, as was stated earlier by my friend Doug. But yeah,
It just went off the rails.
hold on.
Hey man, this has
That
been
went off the rails
every
like just
single
now.
time.
Right.
Yo, man, you've been here the last hour. The show did not just go off the rails.
This show didn't
That was like an hour ago. It's a train. This is a train that goes on water. That is what the show is right now. All right. We don't adhere to train tracks. We're just like, screw that noise.
Glitter beer hashtag. Remember when that was a thing, Doug? Do you remember that?
Yeah. Also, Scroggs is right. He just noted that we get the big head pours when we get the Czech beers, because I'm wondering if that's like the Czech pilsners. Because, Greg, you ever have a slow pour pilsner? Basically, it's like you pour it really aggressively, and it's like almost what Casey had there, where it was like, here's a little beer and it's just head, and then they let it sit so the head settles, and then they pour aggressively again. It's like a 5-minute process.
Oh,
It's
Look
delicious.
at that. Look how shimmery that is. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like glittery tang.
whoa.
It's like glittery
Oh.
tang.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Oh, now I'm gonna. Oh, this is weird.
Yeah.
I'm drinking glitter, and it tastes good. What the hell? Yo, Dan, you come up with some magical stuff. This is weird.
Yeah. I mean, like Doug was saying, DeClaw does a lot of like out there stuff. I mean, they're primarily most well known for Sweet Baby Jesus
and Sweet Baby Java, which is better.
Yeah, Sweet. I agree, 100%. Although I like what's the one that they there's another one they make that's a chocolate rye porter, which I actually prefer to both of them actually. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but yeah, they make some pretty tasty stuff. They have a whole of they have like a what's the one called the dessert series they do?
Oh yeah, it's the patriarchy.
Patriarchy, thank you. Yeah,
I've had one of those on the show, or two maybe even of theirs.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
I had a blueberry pancake one on here.
Oh yeah, I remember signing that. Yeah. But they're that stuff is like ridiculous. It's like creme brulee.
Casey is like staring at that like a long lost lover. What the fuck is going on here?
I need to be way more high to fully appreciate this. I'm not high at all right now. But if I was, I'd just be like, yo, like I can imagine a half hour sitting looking at it, just being like, damn.
It's seen some PCU swirly.
I was going to make a couple comments here. One of them is, look, man, we're not all bad down here. We have glitter beer.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's the thing I didn't know I needed in my life, and now I'm just kind of like, yo, I feel like it's a party trick. I need to go show all my friends now. I'm like, hold on.
I feel like that Joel. I feel like that we were in a hotel room with Joel, Carla, and Jeremy, a couple people, and I feel like someone else brought a glitter beer from like the Midwest. I can't remember who it was from. Maybe it wasn't Shorts. It was something else. We had a bunch of beers. There was the glitter beer.
Was it Steph Harding?
Yeah, I think it might have been. Yeah.
Yeah, Michigan, the queen of Michigan beer is what I call her.
Yeah.
She knows.
Yeah, but it was like so that was like I like looked at it. I'm like, I don't even want to touch my glass right now because it's to get all over my hands. And it's good. It's a good thing I'm not seeing my wife tomorrow, as they say, because they may think I went to strip club.
CNN and MSN, Trump is raging about Twitter, but he's not on. So that was one thing I wanted to kind of talk about, and
yes.
I'm not sure who this is because I can't see your name. But thank you for
Charlie
joining.
O'Hara.
Charlie, hey Charlie.
Whatever. Sorry, but love you, Charlie. Thanks, but getting to the point here, do we have any comments about this? I actually want to go up north for the first comment because when I put it in our pre-production thing today, Casey was very energetic and wanted to talk about how Twitter has banned Donald Trump tonight. And somebody, I think it was before I toss it over to Casey, Nikki Haley, one of these idiot right-wing politicians, she put out there, "Oh, this is a affront to the First Amendment. We're almost like in China." And then it was Chris Hayes from MSNBC was like, "Look, in China, there's no way that any social media people are going to shut down President Xi. So you can try all you want. It's just not going to happen. So that doesn't happen in America." But Casey, so a private Donald Trump has 80 million people. Half of them are bots, by the way, people. So let's just say he has 40 million people on his Twitter, and he's suspended from Facebook. And Casey, you have comments.
Well, I can distill it down to a simple statement. I was just like, so now where's half of America going to get its news? I'm just like, they've lost their main news source, and now just like it's like, what are they going to do? Go like back to traditional news sources? I'm like, well, obviously that just takes too much attention.
And how are they going to read? Because like if they see just regular proper capitalization, they might not get it.
And there are not enough exclamation marks in regular news.
Yes,
to understand what is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think this is like 5 years too late. But so listen, I get he was the president, and you kind of don't want to mute him because he's the fucking president. But yet. That guy peddled fucking racist conspiracies and did every fucking thing that was against Twitter fucking policies, and nothing was done. And if he's on news now bitching about Twitter banning him, hey, motherfucker, maybe you shouldn't just been a fucking racist dickhead for fucking ever. Like, and you went on and just spouted your nonsense for fucking 4 years, and nobody has to listen to you anymore. So fuck off.
Well, I actually, it's good that at least the bar didn't go past human life. How about that?
True.
So once he literally got people killed, I mean, and you could literally argue that he's got people killed before, but we're gonna put those 300 or
COVID aside,
yeah, we're gonna put all the most of the people who died from the pandemic aside here, and in a not not confrontational or negative way. We're not even trying to push that away. But if you do that, his actions literally got people killed the other day. So at least, I mean, directly, you can go, here's a line, here's another dot. Donald Trump jumped from here to here. Everybody can, unless you're a sick fan of his, everybody can agree to that. So I think that's where everybody's like, it's too long, too little. But at least we got to that stage where human life is more important than this stupid fucking Twitter and his stupid face. Dan, did you have a comment?
Well, I mean, here's the thing: it's like he's like we're marching down Pennsylvania Avenue, and of course he never showed up. He just sitting there with his sons, watching. Oh, look at all these chumps and dipshits walking down the street. It's like it just drives me batty. It's like and then the next day he's like, oh no, we condemn all this stuff. I'm like, no, you don't. I mean, you can't just say something on the record. It's just like all the people who are at the Capitol. It's like, hey, look at me. I'm like, I'm the Capitol. I'm storming it. Yay MAGA. Yay this. Yay white power. And then then all of a sudden no, I didn't do that. I'm like, dude, you're on camera. I mean, evidence. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
It just drives me batty.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, Chris is right, man. We keep the rapists out of the north here. So.
Right. Well, Casey, that the context of that joke, in case you didn't know, is when Donald Trump announced his presidency.
Oh, I know.
Okay. Just to make sure you got that. Okay, right. They bring crime.
It's the entire turn about. A few years later, we're like, we see you.
Right.
See
everything
you.
Everything he said about that Mexicans applies to us right now. So that's kind of
so and I was letting you know my fourth beer I'm doing here.
Yeah, get that shit out.
So this is
my third yet. Jesus.
Yeah, it's been a long week.
Shame.
It's been a long week, man.
It's been a long week, y'all.
What is that one?
This is called They Stole How Much Fruit. New England IPA. This is with HBC 586 and Meridian hops and blood orange, mango. This is a collaboration with Two Villains Brewery. But this is So basically, this is brewed at Keg and Lantern. But there's a guy called the Non Sequitur Beer Project. He actually is one of the main guys behind beer menus, which has a huge influence here in the city here. Which it's a pretty neat app because you literally just go on an app, see where you are in your local vicinity, say, oh, we got 7 beer bars in our vicinity, and you can actually click on them, and if they subscribe, they can actually show their tap list. So you can say, oh, well, they've got also they got Hill Farmstead on tap. I'm gonna go there. So it's pretty neat. But I mean, but Gabe, the guy who does this, he's got an adorable dog. I mean, if you follow him, his dog is adorable. And he brings them everywhere to all of his events or whatnot. But he does a lot of IPA and other related and sours or whatnot. But he basically goes to area breweries and brews beer. So he's kind of a forgive the term, but they call them wandering or gypsy brewer and whatnot. But he makes a lot of really tasty stuff. So I mean, I can't complain. So I mean, this is pretty darn tasty. It's I am getting a lot of the mango, a little less of the blood orange, basically. But you are getting that your infantile throwback of the vanilla that's in it and whatnot. So I'm definitely loving that.
Okay, I needed to say 2 things. One,
cool.
Chris is on point. The first thing I saw when I saw that label, I'm like, that's Leonardo from the Ninja Turtles right there. Like that's the first thing that came to mind. And I was like, I was like, how is this just not like a Leonardo beer? I'm very surprised by it. But and also Cyclopic Leonardo. I think he'd be less of a ninja that way.
Yeah.
Wait. Wait. Teenage Mutant Ninja Dildos?
Yeah, but keep in mind, the reason why it's accurate.
I didn't even see that. I didn't even see Chris, man.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Dildos.
But this is accurate though, because remember, Leonardo wields dual katanas. There's two of them that are wrapped around each other. So this makes 100% perfect sense. So Chris is 100% on point here.
So moving on. My third, and I'm gonna go north of the border, Casey.
Oh,
Flying monkeys.
Oh my gosh, flying monkeys.
Whoa.
I haven't had that one.
The Chocolate Manifesto, I have only ever seen in a bomber. I saw it once. I bought it. It was the best chocolate beer I've ever had.
Ooh.
And I found it in 4-packs.
Nice.
And I was like, holy shit. And I brought it on 4-pack home. This is my last one already.
Wow, man.
They are awesome. What's funny is they have like their address on it. So I'm going to read it. You can't really see it here. It says 107 Dunlap Street, Barrie, Ontario, Canada, Earth, Milky Way, the universe, infinity. That's how they did their address, which I think is fucking great.
Nice.
Their can is just like filled with shit. And it's just like, not shit like bad. I mean, like it's just filled with stuff.
Hilarious and awesome. Yeah.
So
it's their manifesto.
Yeah.
Barrie is about an hour north of Toronto.
Yeah. So this is has 3 different kinds of chocolate. So it's
wow.
It's cocoa nibs, cocoa powder, and then milk chocolate.
Ooh.
Wow.
So
Nice.
wait, no, it's so chocolate malt. Sorry, not milk chocolate.
Chocolate malt. Nice.
But dude, that's a chocolate triumvirate right there.
Yeah. So watch when I pour it. I'm just going to tell you this is
pour it out.
Pour it out. That's what I'm down.
Yeah, and I was going to say, when you said the city, it reminded me of the fact that we spent so much time like in Toronto, feel like an inferior version of NYC that I was just kind of like, flashbacks.
I'm going to tell you, I'm holding this to your screen, which is a foot away, and it just reeks of chocolate. Like,
wow.
far away.
I love it.
I mean, it doesn't even smell like any beer. It just smells like you poured like melted chocolate in a fucking glass. It's unbelievable.
Dude, that is like, the best thing to warm me up, man, during the winter.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The Canada get it right. The Canada get it right.
Of course they got it. I told you this is the best chocolate beer I've ever had.
Yes.
I wasn't lying. No, I'm telling you, this is just anybody who can find this. Like I said, Flying Monkeys. I've had only 2 of their beers. I've had this and I had something else, but I can't remember what it was, and that was excellent. I just remember being good, and I was really impressed. But this, holy shit.
I'm looking them up right now to see where their delivery is like, because it ain't far. So,
is that Paige, or is that Dan Bobian or someone else?
That's probably Dan Bobian. If I
great beer.
Talking about lupulin,
that's an amazing name for a beer.
That's a great beer.
That's Charlie O'Hara. That's Charlie O'Hara.
Nice.
Yeah, Charlie. All right. This one here. Twisted Tea, the official drink of knocking out racism.
Oh my God.
I don't think we showed that clip on the stream. I know that I had it teed up to one of these times.
Yes. Yeah, I mean,
Casey, you don't know what we're talking about? Oh, okay. Give me time.
Yeah.
I got it. I'll get this one. But I do have one. I don't know if you guys want to see. I have one here that this is I want to set it up where I say that I have a complicated, and I think a lot of people in America, Casey, I don't know about you, but we have a complicated relationship with cops here in America. We need cops. They're necessary, but like 2020 was kind of like an eye-opening to a lot of, with all due respect, white America, because Black America knew about these cops forever. Source Fuck the Police by NWA. Source that one, please. So you go back and listen. And that was like, what, 50,000 years ago they wrote, they were screaming about that. So when I show this video, I'm showing it in a way that I'm actually in a pro-cop kind of way. One of the things that people were angry about, Casey, I don't know if you got the vibe from down here, was the response from the cops and how it was lackadaisical, how they were taking selfies allegedly, they were opening up things. Supposedly they were telling where to go find Schumer and Pelosi, and apparently these things aren't easy. So with that in mind, I'm going to share this, and then I'm going to get y'all comments.
Yeah.
Here we roll. This is Wednesday, of course. So clearly at one point the response was not enough, and then somebody got pissed off. Thoughts?
No, it's just like high school bullies right there. I mean, damn. I mean, we have a complicated relationship with the police up here too, where it's just kind of like, when to steer clear, and you know that things can go either way real quick when it comes down to dealing with the police. It's like, in some cases it'd be like, if it doesn't matter what the logic and the facts are, things can go either way real quick, and you got to be prepared for that. And it's a sad truth. But yeah, curfew cops don't play. I mean, when you get to the military state, when you get to military law style stuff happening,
no tolerance.
Oh, shoot. Woo!
Wait till we have Manny on this shit. I haven't even Manny, friend me or Doug, and we're gonna have you on this shit. It's gonna be insane. It's gonna be insane. But anyway, go back to
Manny's beer basically proves walls don't work. So
right. So
it's tough.
The complicated thing about that video for me is that, like, I want to cheer because I actually see them doing this to non-black people. But at the same time, I want to say, what the fuck are you doing? These are people. But at the same time, these are motherfuckers who ran them over, literally beat one to death. So yeah. I am really struggling with the whole feeling bad for those people when they wreaked the havoc that they did. And again, this isn't no Black Lives Matter shit. Black Lives Matter people aren't storming buildings. So I don't really care what you say. And Black Lives Matters don't do any of this stuff. Again, Black Lives Matters they're peaceful. And then at night, these are the people that infiltrate the Black Lives Matter shit and start the bullshit. 100%. So I'm not buying any of that. So again, there's a level of police have to protect themselves. They have to go home to their family. But at the same time, these corrupt motherfuckers, anybody want to take this off? I don't know how to explain it.
I love Carla's, workflow about if you're trying to name a beer kind of thing. It's the same kind of thing in real life. Is what I'm going to be doing, going to hurt or potentially, in any way, another person or another group, another organization. So it's like, it's all fine and dandy if you write a blog post and say, I don't believe that group X, Y, or Z basically, is incorrect in their kind of, assumptions, their bylines, their objectives. That's fine. You can do whatever you want. You write what you want on your blog, whatever. Most of us are never going to read it, probably, right? But like, it's a much different story if you're going out there and saying, I'm going to go out there and protest, the election because I don't believe it was, legitimate, or protest the right for human beings to have not get shot in the streets for doing nothing. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's like these people are the same people we are, genetically speaking. So why are you treating them differently?
Right, Doug.
Yeah,
There's 50 ways I can go.
And Doug is funny because they're not usually a guy who's speechless.
So I'm all right. So I have a complicated history of police because I have an arrest record. I spent time in prison for shit I deserved to go to prison for. Cops make me nervous. I'm a white guy. I have a lot less to worry about. I don't have to worry about them fucking shooting me or killing me or any of that shit. I just got to worry that some cop's going to get a red hair up his ass. But that never crosses into, I'm worried I'm never going to make it home.
Mm-hmm.
I never have to worry about that. There's a lot of things that I want to say about not just cops, but like the idea of there's a lot of retribution involved in that. And just, I want to assert my power and you are trying to make me feel like I'm not powerful. So I'm going to make sure I fucking push you down. And then being emboldened by the president. And I'm going to go slightly deep here in that the idea is like, it's not just the president. This has been the way for the Republicans. I'm not going to say conservatives. Conservatives are a different beast. Conservatives are usually fiscally responsible. Responsible. That's bullshit. But physically conservative folks. Okay. Republicans are not. They want to maintain power, and they want to make sure anybody who doesn't look like them or worship like them is not afforded the ability to move up. So when I see stuff like Ted Cruz, that motherfucker, yes, I agree. Whoever said it earlier, I want to see that guy's head in a pike. I get it. I'm there with you. I'm there with you on Mo Brooks and fucking Josh Hawley and Mike Lee and Marsha Blackburn, all those fucking idiots who wanted to protest the vote. And then when all that stuff happened in the Capitol, they went back and they still did it. Those people are a problem because they continually incite that stuff. So there's what I was thinking about something today is, and it's going to sound a little off kilter until I connect the dots here. So, Greg, we'll get to your beer. Just give me literally a couple minutes. I need to speak this because it's fucking in my brain.
No, you go, man, go. That's why.
Have you guys ever seen the movie Sleepers?
Yes.
Dan, I would especially think you would have, simply because it takes place, I think, in Brooklyn.
Right.
And basically it was a book written by a guy named Lorenzo, was it Carcetera or something to that effect. And it starred Brad Pitt, a young Brad Pitt, Jason Patrick, Robert De Niro. Yeah. It is a dark fucking movie. But so basically it's like these kids do a prank and it fucking goes wrong and somebody dies and they get sent to juvie hall. But at the juvie hall is just this fucking awfulness where the guards basically rape and molest the fucking boys in that thing to put them in place. So it's rough. I would not suggest it if you have issues with things like that. But when they're adults, two of them turn into, one's a reporter, one's a fucking district attorney, and the two other guys are like just fucking, they're fucked up, like because of all this. They turn into crime, and they just were crime guys, for lack of a better term. And they walk in on one of the guards, and one of the guards was played by Kevin Bacon.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Bacon plays this slimy fucking guy who was an abuser, sexual assaulter, all this stuff. And these guys come up on him in this diner. Now, I remember this scene vividly. And him seeing them and not knowing them. Oh, you don't know who we are. Well, our names are XXX, and I can't remember the names. And his eyes just go whoop, and he goes, "Oh, hi guys, what's up?" And he just starts eating, and he's like, "Yeah, you don't remember all those nights you came over and just, fucked me up in my cell and like all the stuff." And they're like, he's like, hey, listen, I did that for your own good. I did that to make you tough. And there's this whole abusive cycle with Republicans and Donald Trump and all that shit where they're just like, hey, we did this for your own good. We're doing this for the greater good. And and I remember just being like, all my life I've been a pacifist. All my life I've been like, all right, well, they're shitheads, but we can't stoop to their level. I am at a point where I'm beyond that. And I remember the line, and they're like, well, what do you guys want? And the kids that were like abused and under that guy's care were like, the thing I've always wanted, to watch you die. And they kill him in the freaking diner. And you're just like, holy shit. And before I was like, I get it, but now I get it. There's a difference to it. There's a level to it where you're just like, for 40 fucking years, all my life, I'm almost 50 years old, for as long as I can remember any politics. And it started basically Reagan, and all of it was just fuck people who are poor, fuck people of color, anybody who's gay, anybody who's female. Like, we're just going to oppress the shit out of you because you don't deserve that. And that's where I am. I'm at a point where I can't go high anymore. I can go low.
And there's a multiplier. So if you're gay, black, and a woman, it's like it's like a multiplier. Like, right, you're really gonna get shit on. Like, and if you're like trans, right, like in America, I feel there's a multiplier in America, meaning like if you're more of them, then it's more shit just shoved your way.
Last time I checked, we're not named White Sparta, just for the record.
So anyway, I have trying to take this place to a lighter note.
Yeah. Sorry to bring it so far down, guys, but that just hit me today.
I see a bottle. Man.
That is.
I'm looking forward.
So, preach. JG says
yes.
Gay, black, female, poor, atheist. There we go.
100%. Yes.
I saw something today that says that part of the Casey's gone, unfortunately, or I don't know what the hell's going on there.
He's grabbing beer.
Part of the problem is that America is really misrepresented in Congress.
100%.
We just have a whole bunch of white dudes, and I saw something today too that 90% of Congress says that they're Christian or relates to the Christian moniker or all that. There ain't no way it's 90% fucking Christians in America. So then, how the fuck does this all work? Like, everybody looks at us to our democracy and all that, and it's great, but it's not there's not a direct democracy because the people aren't represented in a way that looks like us. And this is why I'm encouraged by, I'm still encouraged by Joe Biden's, today he came out and talked about his cabinet. Casey, there's more minorities on his cabinet than white people. There are as equal as many women as men. So this is where, when I was screaming in the summer and the fall about how it's just not about Joe, look past him. And really, you're going to be voting for the slate of people that are coming in, not just Joe, as opposed to Donald Trump and his fucking sister and his brother and his uncle-in-law running the fucking country. Like, it just blows my mind that 74 million people wanted to continue down this road. And I'm sure it's like 70 now. He shed a little bit. But these people are still there, Casey. And that's the problem that we have to, that's what I think a lot of Americans are really exasperated about, is that we still feel that we're still like there. And I don't know. To me, again, if this election would happen tomorrow, there'd be, Joe would win a little bit more. But he wouldn't win in a landslide like he should, in my opinion. Right. And that's because, again, I'm going back to Doug, where all these people are in an abusive relationship and they don't even fucking know. Yep. And then if you tell, again, just like Doug's analogy is fantastic, tell a person in an abusive relationship that they're in an abusive relationship and see what kind of pushback you get on that one.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know what I'm saying? You can never, unless it's your really good friend and you're like, look, motherfucker, like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Most people avoid that kind of thing because most people aren't close. Dan, I love you. We're friends. But if you were in an abusive relationship, I don't know if I would have the balls to tell you, dude, you're in an abusive relationship. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Because I would be great
100%.
to lose you as a friend.
Right. No, because there's so many explanations that people like to, they will put up there. No, they're just had a bad week. It's all right.
Right.
So there's so many explainaways that exist basically, and it's not really until someone has the courage to intervene and really kind of put themselves out there and saying, listen, I know I might be overstepping my bounds, but this is important because I fear for your well-being.
Casey. Oh, I'm sorry. As a white guy, I'm really sick of old white guys telling me what to do. Preach. But this is the one I really wanted to show.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Oh, man.
I can't
Yeah,
even.
right, man.
Okay. Let's talk about this. So I have a lot of old friends who I have from the States. The Pressburys want to come move up with me. And everyone just kind of like, yo, Casey, like, make room. Everyone's like, make room.
That's a reality show in the making right there. That's crazy, you man. That's seriously. I will watch 24 hours as long as I can stay awake to watch that. That'd be amazing.
Honestly, okay, but we didn't talk about this because we do not have a military force strong enough to actually protect ourselves from, like, if enough Americans wanted to come over and rush a border, we're just like, well, we can't do shit. Like, we have 40,000 in our military, and you guys have 1.3 million. And we're like,
look, we don't even need to send our military. We'll send those MAGAs that overthrew our government. We can send them up there.
No. We send them to the southern border. Let them deal down there.
Send your nice people to the Canadian border. You'll have a better chance. And we'll be like,
but MAGAs are cool with Mexicans as long as they're serving them drinks. Just saying. And they sit in the cages that they put them in too, by the way.
Right.
Harvest, and as long as they're harvesting their fruit and everything.
Right. Stay in your lane, harvest my fruit, make my margaritas and tacos, and get in the cage when I tell you to. Okay. This is America. Don't let you slip in there. Oh shit. Isn't he? Casey, you ever see that? You saw that video, right?
Day one, when Donald Glover dropped that video, I was just kind of like, "What is this?" And it was just.
But the shit is so. It's even awkward to me today watching that video. Like how he makes it so awkward, like him dancing and all that. It's just perfect. I can't.
His dancing looks like he's jerking two guys off, just for the record.
Right. It's awkward as.
It does. It really does.
But it's perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Hey, I have his next business. Trump's bathhouses.
So, did I talk about this beer? I got tired hands.
Please do.
A dry hop saison.
Ooh.
And Casey, this is your shit. And the reason and the reason I say that is because it's sour. It has a nice sour end to it, but it's dry hop. So it has that hoppy wonderfulness that you're looking for, because I know you like hops. I know you do. And then it has that sour ending, puckery. Man, this one. Our friend Matt Clark got us this one. Dan's having issues. But when Dan comes back, we will wrap this bad boy up. But this is
I have to appreciate that Chris put up a comment saying that, could you kind of turn around? Tim Hortons aren't equipped for this. And I'm like, if we can, I don't even know how much we could actually add to our population and everything goes bust. Because we have to recognize that, the Canadian population is 39 mil, and you guys got about I don't know. What is it? 340
Like
million over there?
350 around.
Yeah, I thought it was 325.
A lot
Yeah.
of damn, like it blows my mind all the time because we are the the largest country in the world by land mass, and we have like 40 million people. So like we're out. We're just basically like, yo, we can stretch our arms out and everything's good. Where if you add like you double that, we're just be like, whoa. The things got real cramped real quick, and we have to recognize as well that 90% of the Canadian population lives within 100 miles of the Canada-US border. So there's like 10% of the country where it's just kind of like they're all out there where I don't even know where they live. Somewhere north, somewhere out there doing their thing. But it's just like we have not built the infrastructure to deal with more people. So, America, we love you, but take it slow. We need to plan this out. We need Northwest Territory is mad big. Northwest Territory is big. If y'all want to bypass Toronto and go right up there to like the territories, you'll have at it. Good luck to you. If you want to survive, like I have to let me think about Fahrenheit. If you can survive minus 50 Fahrenheit temperatures, you'll be all right. You'll be good.
No, that's ice road trucker territory.
As I say, yeah.
I ain't fucking with that. I saw that show.
That's put your meat in the backyard because you don't need a damn fridge. That's basically where you're at by that point. You put things in the fridge to keep them warm over there.
I want to get away from Donald Trump, but not that.
So guys, I know it's unprecedented, but it's been that kind of week. I'm on my 5th beer.
Do it. What do you have?
Dan, take over the show. Just this is Dan's show now. Give up.
So
y'all.
So Matt. So I had to get this. The reason why I chose this beer is because this is from Laura Hall, Daddy Poor's Beer Group, from the Exchange. This is Untitled Arts Chocolate Vanilla Maple Imperial Stout. This is a collaboration with Angry Chair. So I've been holding on to this for since probably July, I think, in my fridge. So I've been dying to try this, but I've been waiting for the right occasion. And I thought, why not? So
this is the right occasion.
So
nice glass.
Yes, yeah, I know. I saw. So
making me envious
because of the pandemic. I had not gotten because I bought 2 because I'm gonna give one to my dad. So I'm giving him his probably in February when I hopefully get to see him. So, but yeah, we'll see. But yeah, this is gorgeous. I mean, this is fluffy as anything. I'm gonna nurse this until the end of the night. Clearly, otherwise I'll be on the floor in 10 minutes. So. Oh wow, this is.
So what was that one, Dan? Again, I'm
sorry.
Chocolate maple vanilla
chocolate. Chocolate vanilla maple imperial stout.
I almost got it right.
So it's we're looking for the ABV here. 12%. And it includes lactose, everybody. So for those of you that are lactose sensitive, you'll be on the toilet later.
Sometimes the lactose sensitivity is just worth it. Just screw it. You got to do it.
Well, the good news is in beer, usually the lactose isn't too heavy. Usually, even in milk stouts. So,
dude, I have to say this is smooth for 12%. This is smooth as hell. This is not drink 12%. I mean, maybe it's the beers before it, but I think this is drinking more 10% at most.
Who was that, Doug?
Well, that was Frogs.
Yes, true.
Who also wanted to point out that he was in high school when NWA dropped Death to Police, which was just kind of sorry, Scruggs.
So was I.
Ooh, not as sorry, Doug. My bad.
No, but that was one of those songs that when I first heard it, I was taken aback about how raw, in your face.
Can you say that?
Yeah. Oh my! I don't know, man. That was one song that was even for me. I don't know. I was born and partially raised in West Philadelphia, like Will Smith.
Born and raised.
But it was about but I was about 8 or 9 when my mother moved us up to Bend, Salem, and then eventually to Allentown, which is Allentown used to be like, when I moved up there, it was like suburbia. Allentown's more like, Allentown, Bethlehem Easton now is like more like a big city if you put them all together. Right. And there's a lot of people there now. It's populous, but it wasn't that way when I grew up there. So that was like taking us to, quote, the suburbs. And that's when all that went down. And that's when I got to, all the NBA. And I was like, again, Casey, that shook me, man, because I remember that life a little bit, but it was just more like even living the suburban life. When I heard that, I was like, damn. And now that shit aged like fine wine.
Like the fact that it's still relevant is so sad, but it's still anthemic, right? It's still such a huge song that marks a point in history that never stopped.
I'm gonna go. All right, so that one was before the one I'm going to mention now. So my introduction to rap was like real introduction. I'm talking one where I was like, oh shit, I really need to get into this. And I remember it was an MTV report by Kurt fucking Loder, because I'm old as fuck.
Yes.
Going.
Talked about this before in the stream.
Yeah. So basically he was talking about Public Enemy going to a prison to do a concert. And I remember they were worried they were going to do a song called Black Steel in the Hour of Chaos, which is a song about a prison breakout. And they were afraid they were going to do that song in the prison. And they fucking did. And I was like, okay, I need to find out more about this. I was rural PA. I knew so little about rap music outside of fucking NWA wasn't quite on my radar yet.
No.
I had heard about it, but it was kind of like it was like the most I had heard was Run DMC, Tougher Than Leather. That was like where I had heard most of it.
Or Sugar Hill Gang, Robert Delight.
Yeah. So I remember I was like, I'm just going to go buy the cassette. And I played that cassette so much that there was no fucking writing on it by the time it wouldn't work anymore. And that song has such. Well, first of all, Chuck D has such a voice that just commands your fucking attention. You're going to listen to me, goddammit. Right now, you're going to hear what I'm saying. And like, I never got that at NWA. I never got that out of Ice Cube or even, Eazy-E or Dr. Dre. None of those guys had the command that Chuck D had. And I remember hearing that song and just being like, holy shit. All right. And then I went back and went back to Yo Bum Rush the Show, their first album. And then I have all of their fucking albums because it just was like, this is a view into something I never have. I'm a fucking rural pasty white guy from PA. And these guys are living like fucking hard goddamn lives in the streets of LA. And I'm like, okay. So like, yeah, I don't know that particular, it's interesting how people get introduced to things, and that was my introduction was Public Enemy through Kurt Loder. So go figure that shit out.
Wow.
Doug, so you bring up cassette tapes, which I grew up with, and it's within my span of time. But what was it? Last year or the year before, someone sent me a record player for Father's Day to like review on the blog and all that kind of stuff. And my kids right now are 7 and almost 5. And so for them, like I basically took the record player, got a few vinyls, and I put on Marvin Gaye's "What's Going On," and put it on and started playing it. And the kids were just mesmerized, like, "What is this?" Because they're of a generation where they just ask Google or Alexa to play the music for them, but they're just kind of like, "Hold on." So you have to take this huge thing, put it on something else, and then put something on that just to get it to play. I'm like, yeah. And like, and it sounds amazing. And it's like every time it plays, they're their kids, so they just put their hand out. They want to like grab the record and everything. I'm like, stop it. No, listen. And they're like, but no, it's like I want to understand. Stop, no. And it's like you're not a DJ. Give it a rest. But
walk uphill both ways to school. It's all right.
Oh, trust me. Like there's so many stories that I get from my parents where I'm just like, oh man, I'm taking all that and feeding it to my kids, 100%.
Said it before I did again. Cop Killer?
Yeah.
Anybody on Cop Killer?
Yeah.
Ben?
Yeah, no, I mean, he's 100% right. I mean, again, I mean, as a mixed race person, I mean, I got my fair share of abuse from people and whatnot in a predominantly 98% white town when I was growing up or whatnot. So I mean, that was tremendous. Like JG says, it was tremendously powerful to hear that. The first time, when you had that accessibility, like, I feel like growing up, I feel like if I'd heard certain things ahead of time, I think that it would have even warped my perception even more so, because I've been a diplomatic person for so much of my life. I feel like I don't want to disappoint people. I feel like I want to basically get to know them, understand them, and then if I disagree with them, fine, respectfully, I'll do that basically. But at the same time, it's like when you see something that's just so one-sided as far as discrimination and treatment is concerned, it's like, I'm sorry, you can't be diplomatic at that point. You have to be in their face, because like it's like, okay, listen, these POCs are not going to be treated the same as people out there. I mean, people made fun of my mom. My mom is from Santiago de Chile, right? So people made fun of my mom all the time. My mom was a substitute teacher in a number of schools here in when I grew up and whatnot, and she was discriminated 150% of the time, because she had an accent. God forbid, she wasn't white. She wasn't American Caucasian, so to speak. So it's like, I think that more people need to be exposed to everything across the board to understand that kind of vantage point. And I think that what James is talking about is they need to be exposed to that. You can't just be in your proverbial Justin Bieber bubble.
Well, and it goes back to that. Dick Cheney was against gay marriage until Dick Cheney realized he had a gay daughter. So like that's almost how it is with America. I don't know how Canada goes, but like it's almost like we don't see that shit until it like hits us like on our front step. Like unless it comes to us and like slaps you in the face, like you got a gay daughter, Casey, and I know you don't got daughters, but but that would be so, Casey. That would be really crazy if you had a gay daughter, because you don't have any. But but you know what I mean? Like it's almost like in America, like we don't see the humanity in people unless we see the humanity in people. If that makes any sense. I mean, unless they literally touch us during the day, or we have a personal connection. Meh.
I feel like here there's like the city and the country. So in the country, I'm sure there's a lot of it, down there as well. But like the country is very homogeneous, based on centuries old tradition, and basically like, this is the one truth of how things work. Whereas here in the city, it's a lot more accepting, and I feel very blessed, and I feel very fortunate to raise my kids in an environment where they see so many different kinds of people, so many different kinds of cultural expression and things like that. Because I want them to grow up knowing that there's so many different ways to express yourself or to live life, and it's still being cool. And we talked earlier about the melting pot. Up in Canada, we actually have what we call the mosaic, where basically you come into Canadian culture, but for a large part of it, you retain whatever it is you brought from before. So Toronto has representation from almost every country in the world, and you can go to you have a Korean spot, a Korean cultural center next to like Eritrean place, next to Australian place, and we just like get to mix a lot of different things together. And I think it's really important to have that authenticity, so you can like really talk to people and understand their experiences, where they come from, why they came to Canada in the first place, what they're escaping, all that kind of stuff. And I feel like understanding all those narratives helps a lot to, set you for when you go out in the world and have your own travels and figure things out in the future. You're going with a background of it where you're just kind of like, I understand at least to a degree what you've had to go through, and now I'm here to learn more, rather than taking a personality where it's just like you go into a situation expecting it to be like, I hear a lot from my travels anyway. I hear a lot of the anti-American sentiment, let's call it, whereas everyone like, people coming to visit these countries and expect it to be like just like America, and I'm like, that doesn't work out so hot. And so you're entirely right. You need exposure to so many different kinds of cultures, viewpoints, and everything to make sure that you're well-rounded enough to understand and accept that the world is such a diverse place. And I'm hoping, I'm trying my best to put in my kids. They're young, they don't get anything right now, but I'm hoping that give it like 5-6 more years. I'm hoping like the light bulb starts to go off, and I'm like,
it does.
I thank you guys.
You'll have weird conversations where your kids will bring up something that you weren't really aware that they were really paying attention to.
Right.
And you'll be like, oh shit, I'm glad you're paying attention to that, but fuck, I didn't realize that. That's great.
Doug.
I was trying to make that case without being like, hey, motherfucker, pay attention.
Doug, my youngest, 15, came up to me when he saw the stuff going on Wednesday and said, hey, Dad, what about when the looting starts, the shooting starts? What happened to that? And I was like,
yeah, that only applies to certain folks, son.
He got that in there, and it was sarcasm. It was beautiful. It was laid out perfectly. I was like, you're my son.
I love it.
Sarcasm is great until that shit is aimed at. The sarcasm is great until it's aimed at you. Then that's something.
Right. But I was like, I didn't even think about when the looting starts, the shooting starts. But that was, again, remember that Dump was cool with that when it wasn't people who were protesting against him. And now all of a sudden, and also the one I brought up was, so now we can start throwing people 10 years in jail for defecating federal property, right? What about that?
Yeah,
so anyway,
that was going to apply to the people he liked.
Right. So Dan is chomping at the bit to tell us what his favorite beers were out of the 6,000 that he drank tonight.
Yeah. Your lineup, man.
For 9,000.
So Dan, real quick though, before you get into that, I want you to give us the timeline on your new podcast, and I want you to commit to coming back and telling us about it, because you are one of our feverish fans. You talk about us all the time. You spread the word. We love you, so we want to do the same for you. So we want to have you back when you guys are cranking, and you can say, "Hey,
timeline. The release of episode 0, which is going to kind of explain what the podcast is about, will probably be sometime this month.
Okay.
One of my co-hosts he's in a kind of a extremely stressful period at work right now, so obviously we have to be sensitive to his needs or whatnot, and we've done some pre-recording for what we need and whatnot, but it's we need some time to kind of flesh things out. But this month it'll definitely happen for episode 0. Episode 1 will be shortly thereafter. I'm hoping that this, again, as much as we joke about this thing being nice, this would be the least important podcast on the internet. I think that I'm hoping that even if one person walks away from what we do, with something out of it, that'll be amazing within itself, basically. Because I think really, just not to give too much away, basically, but the reason why we're doing this is that we were already doing or having a conversation based upon what the podcast is about already, and we're just basically going to start recording it for people to lean off. So that's the way that I kind of see it.
Awesome.
But yeah, so I'm looking forward to sharing it with the world or whatnot, and whatnot, and again, on some perspective, and Greg, you and I had a lot of conversations on the way to Dogfish Head back in the day, about what I am thinking about doing, and I'm going to kind of struggle with myself about what am I doing with Life on Tap, across the board, and I'm going to be doing a lot of the same, unfortunately, for the short term, but I hopefully will be adding some new functionality, across the board, with how it relates to what I record and whatnot, and so that will come momentarily in the future when I can deal with it, personal stuff and work stuff aside. But yeah, it'll be good.
All right, so my point is that we'll have you back in the spring, and you can lay it all out, and we could say, hey, here's the link that you go and listen to Dan. Sweet. Yeah. So what do you got, buddy?
So I mean, again, I'm on a lager kick, so this is Courage My Love is my hobby pill lager. That was a clear number one. I gotta say though, everything I had was super delicious, but that was a clear number one for me. The next four are all pretty close. I mean, I really super enjoyed the Summit Northern Porter. I mean, number two for me. I just like it. Just hit all of my flavor, sensitivity areas, if you will, and just I would just drink that any winter day of I can get it, honestly.
That's a big roast one, isn't it?
Yeah, super roast, but but that I mean, it hit everything. It roasts mostly, a little bit of toasted malt and a little bit of chocolate on the back end of it, and just I only had 12 ounces of it. I mean, I could have had 24 easily, no question in my mind. So, but behind that, the World is Flat probably number three. The one I'm having right now, the Entitled Art Angry Chair collaboration, it's super bombastic in flavor. I mean, there's negative head left on the glass here. I mean, it's super tasty.
Untitled Art. Untitled Art.
Untitled Art and Angry Chair, but not a sequitur. Not to be outdone. This is equally as interesting and tasty. I mean, the blood orange on this and the mango was tremendously interesting because they do a lot of in experimental stuff, and it kind of challenges your palate and your mind and what you're doing. And then so that being said, they don't have a home per se, but again, if I can just make a quick note about 2022. If anyone happens to be jonesying for a little trip, in 2022, I definitely encourage people if you want to come out, we're planning we're tentatively planning the postponed 2020 Memorial Day weekend brewery tour then. So I definitely say, if you're a friend of the show, a friend of the group, a friend of all of us here, you want to come out, please do. I can't necessarily host people in my super small apartment, which is negative square feet. But that being said, I'm more than happy to take you around. Threes and a number of other breweries here in the city are places we want to go visit. We had a 3-day kind of tour plan, and now there's even more breweries. But I'm saying there's 2 new breweries now in Manhattan that weren't here before. So Torch and Crown, I actually sent one of those beers, Flying Blind, up to Casey. They're blue. It is raspberry and blackberry sour, I want to say. And then there's another brewery called that Witch, as in ails you, and Witch is WITCH. So kind of witch is supposed to be witch. So there's 2 more breweries here in the city, and a bunch of new places out in Brooklyn to go to as well. So we'll have to revisit my list that I have out there or whatnot. And I know there's a lot of people that were talking about coming down and joining us. So if you want to be in the area, man, just hit us up, and we'll do our very best to accommodate people joining up as we can.
I would love to. If 2022 is a thing, I would love to come down and be part of that.
Yeah, but your entry card is the vaccination card, I think, is the rule, right?
I can provide those. We have free healthcare up here. It's a thing.
And Dan, of course, Dan's got to be an American. We have right, the last country that should be talking about anybody bringing in any vaccinations or any COVID shit is America. So of course it's America that is stabbing Canada.
Dan, before you go, I need to get you on the record for something, because I have this conception in my head from a trip I took down there back in 2011. I went down there and I thought Grimaldi's pizza was freaking delicious. Am I right? Am I wrong? Is it good or am I?
You're right. I mean, Grimaldi's is easily my top 5 in the city.
Yes. Okay. I feel vindicated.
Yeah. So that being said, I think we have to make a trip to DeFara's.
Oh, this is why I'm coming to hang with you. I need to know. I got to get a lot of Manhattan in.
My buddies Dave and Scott are my pizza connoisseurs that I defer to. So they're I definitely they've done pizza crawls, they've done taco crawls, they've done their thing. So basically, if we need to kind of stage this intertwixt between brewery visits, so be it. That being said, there's a lot of really excellent food in and around beer bars and whatnot.
No. We can bang this out in a week. I will stay there for a week. I'll find a good Airbnb. We'll make this happen.
Yeah.
This would be my personal trip where just like, family, I love you. I got to go eat like tons of American food. Peace. Like,
yes, but the key thing is that I'm only going to make you eat a slice. I'm not going to make you eat, the American portion in 7 slices.
I appreciate that because I've been to Chicago and my Canadian appetite cannot handle Chicago portion
One
size.
slice of Chicago pizza is like 15 slices of New York.
It's enough meals for me for 3 days, man.
It's a total commercial. It's like, you have 1 bowl of total, or you have 15 bowls of cornflakes.
So on that note, Dan, it was nice having you.
Yeah, great having you, man.
Thank you, gents.
We could probably do this 2 more hours. And we might actually. So, Dan, I think if you have any parting shots, other than that, we'll let you go and we'll see you in the spring. Yeah.
I mean, listen, if anyone out there is interested in, clicking up with our nice, thank you, Manny. Anyone else is interested in, doing part of the Daddy Porter Beer Exchange, definitely hit me up. For the record, I got a lot of questions. Mad props and happy birthday to Brock. Lush, a member of the group here. So he was not aware of the extensive options that exist as far as trading is concerned. So if you need help, and you want to do some exchanges from New York City, I don't get out to breweries as often as I want to, but I'll get what I can. If you have any preferences, hit me up. I definitely love to look at that. Yeah, so you got my letterhead there. So if you're interested, please hit me up. It's if you Life on Tap, 11tap.com. Just email me. Just let me know, or hit me up on Facebook, whatever, Twitter. I'm down on tap pretty much everywhere. So.
Did y'all know Did y'all know that Daddy Porter has another group and it's only for beer trading?
Exactly. Well, and again, that's where Laura Hall got me hooked up with this. I have 15. So I have to say, I have to give another quick shout out to Laura, because Laura nominated someone else. Basically, yes, okay, yeah. I mean, I'll have to try and get Magnify and whatnot out here for Manny, because Magnify in Jersey does a lot of cereal beers. So I'll try and get what I can for him. But but Laura Hall out there, she nominated my first shipment during the pandemic was not just an exchange; it was a charity shipment. And and if you have the means, you have the ability to afford this, basically, please do it. I mean, there is a person who is very, very, he by day he's a emergency room nurse, and by night he was a beer tender at a local brewery. So I was honored to be able to ship 12 New York beers to him, and have him enjoy them, basically because that's he was literally on the front lines before we knew the extent of what everything was with vis-a-vis the pandemic. And it was great of her to nominate him, and I haven't heard from him directly for myself or via Laura, but God save he's safe and he's still with us or whatnot, and hopefully when the pandemic stabilizes, normalizes, he'll be able to get back to his secondary job and his passion, so to speak, and whatnot. So I have to say thank you. So.
All right, Dan. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, cheers, everyone.
Cheers, man.
Hey, of course, stick around for post-production. See you shortly. So it's really interesting when we have someone who's like important to the show as far as like being a fan on, and we get on with him, and then like it's already
past 2 hours. I was like, what the hell? Really? Okay.
So like
Cool.
when we have Manny on, I think we might have to start like an hour early, and like because it's gonna go forever, man.
Yeah.
So Doug, you want to key yours up, and then we're gonna have to let me go through these comments here real quick before we really like jump off.
Do the
But
comments.
so Grand Flasher Furious 5. I don't know who this is. Don't push me because I'm close to the edge. I'm not trying to lose my head. Man, I don't know about you, but that was another gripping song.
White Lines, right?
I lived in the hood. We had white lines. And I lived in the hood. Again, I've always either lived in the hood or I went back to the hood to visit my grandparents and, the people that, I grew up with. And that was another song that hit me, man. That was like, okay. But because I was a kid, my mother wasn't like, hey, white lines is Coke and all that. And, Coke is something that, it's Coke back then and crack back then were like, they were just like
prevalent. They're everywhere.
Prevalent, especially in the black community, though, because that's where, in my opinion, they planted a lot of this shit. And man, we talk about that. We're gonna go 2 more hours. White Lines, though, no, but that was a song that was really, Grandmaster Flash was, man, he was hot back then. And hot meaning like when you heard that shit, you were like moved.
I had to explain the other day. I explained the Four Tops. Are you man enough to my kids? And really like breaking it down for them of just like this is what it means and everything. They're like, I'm like,
The country is white in America. The cities are multicultural. You're saying that too, right? You're saying that about Canada, right?
Entirely the same up here.
Yeah.
Yep. Speaking, Greg, I hate when people shade their own gay families. This is true.
I always say, you know what I've been saying. One of my taglines has been. I said this on a few podcasts too because I stand by it. I'm like, if my son come home and he tells me he's gay, I'm like, yo, bring it. Like, awesome. Let's do this up. If my son come home and tell me he's vegan, I don't know if I could do it. I'm not cooking more than one day.
Oh, shit. Hey, Dad, I got to tell you something. I'm a breatharian. Get the fuck out.
You're not my kid. Oh, shoot.
Let's see. Take 2. Rural America is white. The cities are multicultural. At least east and west have coasts.
That's true. The coasts are. I think the coasts are like the border for you, Casey. Like the coasts are.
We got the coast. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's basically as soon as you get outside the cities, which are kind of like these little pinpoints across Canada, it's all the same. Coast, no coast, border, no border.
Oh, I love this. I don't know who this is, but I love this. Per a friend, Obama still has his Twitter account.
Oh, it's Charlie. I saw that earlier.
Well, and this is Charlie too because he's a real president, a constitutional scholar, and a donor. And he's fucking hot. Anyway.
All right, let me get my review.
Yes, sir.
All right, so all these were good. All my beers were good. Just I want to say that up front. Third place was The World is Flat. It was delicious. It just wasn't as good as the other two. Really good. Something eminently drinkable. Like if you had a bunch of these, you just drink them all day and be fine. This was the second one was the Attack of the 50-Foot Boss with my fancy fucking
3D beer.
The 3D beer. I bought it for the gimmick, but very much like an English barley wine, not like an American barley wine, but that made it way more drinkable for me. So I think this is really a good barley wine. If you want to try barley wines, I think really English style is a way to go if you're just starting out because American barley wines are just going to fucking pound you in the face because they're just fucking booze. So this was excellent. But Canadians win tonight. Chocolate Manifesto. Chocolate milk stout. Like I said, best beer I've ever had that has chocolate in it that I've ever had.
Flying Monkeys will be very, very happy to hear that I'm about to make an order of Flying Monkeys based solely upon your review
This,
there.
I'm going to tell you, if you can get them to deliver this, you'll be very happy.
Oh,
Even
I
if you're
can.
even if
I
you're
already
even
looked
if
up.
you're a sour fan, this is not sour. This is just it's a chocolate bar in a fucking glass. It's awesome.
The label is why you bought it, Doug.
Yes, I definitely bought it just for the fucking label, for sure. I closed the tab.
Manny is suing that
You're
beer.
entirely right.
Manny is suing that beer.
Oh my gosh. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump in here.
Go ahead.
Alt beer was the worst one I had. It was fantastic. It was one of the best alt beers I've had in a long ass time. Thank Ding Fisher. Hell's Lager the same. I'm not a fan of either one of these styles, but they were really, really drinkable. And I'm gonna finish all these beers tonight. Third, it's hard to beat Optimal Wit from Port City. This is such a strong beer. The only beer that I think is better than this, Doug, is in this style and nationally.
I'm going to say Allagash.
You were correct, sir. Boom.
Allagash makes their wit beer is fucking
We
phenomenal.
had something fall off the edge here, but it's all good.
I'm going to say the Omegang wit is also excellent.
I'm going wit. Okay, and then we have Shambolic from Tired Hands in Pennsylvania. My friend Matt Clark giving that. This is that dry hopped Svelte Saison. I told you, Casey, that you would love this because it has that. I know you like hops. I know you like a good double IPA. You had some pale ale tonight you liked. And then it has that like sour out. It's balanced though, Casey. It's not too puckery at the end and it's not too hoppy. It was just.
I'm down. I'm down with some international exchanges. All I'm saying.
Proofs in the pudding here. So Casey, what were yours?
You know what? Third, I'm gonna say. Also, I enjoyed all my beers tonight, and I have to say that Dan is an excellent chooser of beers. Like this, just not it. The Photon was my third place because it's pale ale, but it's very middle of the road. Very, very standard taste, and it tastes good, but it did not stand up to the I Hate Myself India Pale Ale, which had some very clever flavors to it, and it was really nice. I surprised myself with my love for the Duclaw Brewing Company Sour Me Unicorn Farts, which basically sat half this entire freaking call mesmerized with the glitter of the frigging beer. And it's my new party trick beer. It tastes good. It looks good. And it's going to blow people's minds when I bring it up north of the border. So, Dan, you win. You win tonight.
Yes.
Beer is going to change my parties.
Nobody can see it. Dan is in a green room going.
I'm saying, man. Like,
so he agrees. Yes.
I got it in the fridge and I was like, is this going to be good? Like, is this a thing? And I tasted it. I'm like, damn, all right, we good.
So of all weeks, Casey, I want to continue to imprint this in you. America is best at beer, and the rest were questionable.
Doug just told you that Canadian beer is the best of the night, but whatever. Okay, cool.
And I'm going to show you America's best. Actually, before we get to America's quote best, I need to check who our next week's guest is because I do great prep work, and I don't even look at who's next week's guest is. Oh, next week's guest. Wonderful. Next week's guest is Roberto Santiago. We had him on before. And I am glad we brought him up because I want to bring up before we go the Cleveland Browns in the playoffs. And Roberto is a known Baker Mayfield hater. So we're going to get into that next week.
Yo.
He's a hater. He just hates. And then, like, it's funny because I don't hear shit from him when Baker Mayfield's like throwing all kinds of touchdowns, leading the Browns to the playoffs that they haven't been in 80,000 years. But the second that Baker Mayfield like has a fumble, like Roberto's on my Twitter talking about it's all Baker Mayfield's fault. So I cannot wait to have this wonderful Cleveland Browns in the playoffs, bitches.
But
Bitches.
we have imaginary beef, Roberto and I. We need to I need to show up next week and quash this thing because I'm just I'm very confused as to why we have beef.
Oh, you got Roberto likes to talk shit. Okay?
I think
He doesn't like Canadian bacon. That's a problem.
I don't like
Doug though, Doug. That's right. But on top of his shit talking, he's an interpreter. He is he's well versed in many different things. He's way more complex than his stupid trolling of me on Twitter. So we'll get into that. But we'll also get into all these different things that Roberto's good at. So I'm looking forward to that. Casey, I hope you can join us next week. We'll figure all that out. If you can, you can. Then you can get into what your beef is. And
I really want to get into this.
We'll do what we do best in America. We'll split screen you and let you guys fight to the end or something. We're going to lead us out with America's finest. And you'll see what I'm talking about when we get there. Fellas, it was great having time off. We took off the last week of last year and the first week of this year. So we're going to be in your face until probably Christmas. So
basically,
you ain't going anywhere. Get used to this, motherfuckers. Yeah. You had a 2-week break, and now we're back.
Back.
I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining me, and this is the end of this edition of wonderful thing, but I actually not the end. I got a little treat for you here. Doug, see you next week.
Cheers, folks.
Casey, see you next week. Greg, see you next week. Oh, but you guys got to see this. You guys got to see this guy. He's oh man. Let's see where we at. See you guys next week.
What do you have to say to those people who already accepted Biden as president?
All I have to say to people that already accepted Biden as president is that you are choosing to be a victim of what is called neuro-linguistic programming. It is a MK Ultra psychological warfare technique where they combine frequencies that affect the brain with propaganda and trigger words to get people to be what is called compartmentalized into a propagandized perspective of reality that they control. It's mass mind control. That way they can gear the populations for warfare. It's based on MK Ultra stuff that we got from Operation Paperclip with the Nazis.
And who do you think the Clintons are in on it?
Okay, the Clintons are a part of the cabal. You see, the military-industrial complex is divided into two factions. One faction is known as the cabal. That's the Satanists and the communists, the fascists, okay? The other side is the alliance. Those are the patriots in our republic, the people that believe in the Constitution, believe in freedom, believe in God. Okay, so these two warring factions have been going at it for quite some time. Hillary Clinton is a part of the cabal.
Now, I know the first reaction I'm going to get from that is, what are your sources? Or just in general.
Okay, well, when it comes to Hillary Clinton, all you have to do is look into the emails and the way that she's involved in spirit cooking with Marina Abramovic, who's a known satanic witch. Hillary Clinton is a satanic witch, okay? All you have to do is say the word frazzle drip, okay? People don't want to look it up because it's so disgusting, okay?
Frazzle drip.
Frazzle drip.
What is that?
I really don't want to talk about it because it's so disgusting.
Well, frazzle drip. Podesta emails, right? You were talking about
Clinton emails and the Clinton emails, because keep in mind, there were Clinton emails that got exposed too. And in some of these emails, she's talking about going to torture night and bringing a hammer. She's talking about things like going to spirit cooking events with John Podesta and with Marina Abramovic, who is a known satanic witch.
I'm just so impressed and flabbergasted at all the details you're remembering. One final question is, do you accept the results of the Arizona elections, of the ballots?
Well, not all the ballots are counted here in Arizona according to the narrative. And the fact of the matter is, no, I do not accept whatever it is that these people, they tried to call Arizona with 75% of the votes called. That's Fox News. Okay, that's fake Fox News.
Why do you think they would push for that?
This is psychological warfare techniques. Okay, look into Operation Paperclip. Okay, and then look into Operation Mockingbird. Okay, Operation Paperclip is where we procured over 1,500 Nazi scientists and doctors and brought them into our highest levels of the space program, of the intelligence community, which means the CIA, of the political establishment, okay? And in the process, they infiltrated our nation, and they're trying to bring it down from within. They tried to take over the industrial power that is the United States, okay? And they did so successfully for quite some time until Donald Trump took office. JFK tried to take it from him, okay? And so did Eisenhower when he threatened to storm Area 51 if they didn't tell him what the hell was going on, okay? And ever since then, the alliance has been fighting with the cabal. Okay, and they killed JFK just like they perpetrated 9/11, just like they perpetrated COVID in 1984, just like they perpetrated this voter fraud shit.
Mm-hmm. Okay, one last follow-up question. You seem like a knowledgeable person. How do you think events are going to play out for the next 4 years? What's your prediction?
God wins. Trump wins. America wins. And the world will be freed of communism forever. Okay, we are setting the example here in the United States that this communist New World Order can and will fail, that these communist revolutions can and do fail. And yes, you can in your country take your nation back from these globalists, from these communists who have infiltrated your government. Because guys, Q sent me. And if you don't know who Q is, oh, did it shut down?
No.
Okay. If you don't know who Q is the highest levels of the military and the intelligence community in the United States. And they are disseminating above top secret information to patriots in our republic so that we can take back our nation from the communists and the globalists who have infiltrated our government at some of the highest levels and some of the lowest levels with these polls, okay, and these pollsters. And they're trying to bring it down from within so they can create a new world order, a one world government where America is wiped off the map, where our Constitution is voided because of international law. But it isn't going to fucking happen. We won't let it happen. We have their playbook. Cloward and Piven. All right. You know Cloward and Piven, the playbook, the Lewis for Radical, Saul Alinsky. We have their playbook. And what happens when you have the opposition's playbook? They lose. And they're pissed because Donald Trump got the highest level of executive power in the nation, and he's cleaning house from the top down. And we're cleaning house from the bottom up as citizens and as patriots because of the Q movement. The alliance is behind Q, you guys. Q is the highest level security clearance you could possibly have. Okay, it's above top secret, and the information they are disseminating is very, very real. Our whole system is owned and controlled through blackmail. It's owned and controlled through blackmail because of child sex trafficking rings and human trafficking rings, essentially the slave trade, the modern day slave trade. And there are more slaves now in the world than there ever has been in the history of this planet. Literally like 20 million, 25 million slaves, men, women, and children. And most of the time they're sex slaves and they are kept in cages. Okay, we have to end all of that, and we are ending all of that here in Arizona. By taking Arizona back, we are ending it on a global scale because Arizona, Phoenix is number 2 in the world for human and child trafficking. So when we bring it down here, and we will, when we end the corruption in Arizona, and we will, when we take Arizona back, and we will, we're going to take America back, and we are going to change the world because we will have ended the child sex trafficking and the human trafficking going on here at the number 2 location next to Mexico City, by the way. So what does that tell you? That tells you that Phoenix and Mexico City are hooked up in this human trafficking shit. And if we end it here, we end it there. If we end the cartel's presence in Arizona, we end it there. We ended the cartel's presence here, we end it all over the globe, you guys. And you better believe this is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It is a larger industry than the drug trade, if you can believe that. The child and human trafficking trade is a larger financial cash crop than the international drug trade. And if you don't believe that Arizona has been infiltrated, all you got to do is look at Arrowhead Mall's official symbol. It just so happens to be the pedophile code for little boy lover. And I spoke with a woman that worked at Arrowhead Mall and still does, and she says kids go missing from there all the time. So ask yourself, why is it Arrowhead Mall for the last 20 years has been using a known pedophile code? That's according to the FBI. Known pedophile code is a symbol, it's a triangle, and a spiral. It's a spiral triangle. Okay? This same symbol is Arrowhead Mall's official symbol. Why have kids been going missing from Arrowhead Mall? Okay, and if we then factor in the notion that China and, should I say Costco, or China, Costco, same thing. Okay, Costco is right down the road from Arrowhead Mall. So what does that tell you? Oh, well, don't these malls have like basements and like underground facilities? Oh yeah, they do. Wouldn't a place like Costco have like a basement or like an underground facility? Oh yeah, they would. Is it possible that kids are getting abducted from Arrowhead Mall and being trafficked to China and being put in shipping crates? Is it possible? I say it's possible. I'm not going to say it's exactly what's happening, but I'm going to say I'm pretty fucking certain. I'm going to figure out if it's happening, and if it is, we're going to stop it.
You want to infiltrate with us and see if that's true?
Dude, I go out every morning, 75th Avenue in Bell, and I fight for our children. I go out every morning, 75th Avenue in Bell, and I dance my ass off. And I show them, you sent me, and you are not going to traffic our children. And if you don't believe, I mean, that's just one area. If you go to 5th and Mill in Tempe, they have so much satanic symbolism there. They have a pizza shop that has horns and a devil's tail as in their symbolism. They have a lotions and potion shop that just so happens to have a little rabbit right next to the door. White rabbit, follow the white rabbit, adrenochrome. Okay, across from the pizza shop is a nightclub called Aura, where the A's are capital A's with a dot in the middle. Kind of like a certain type of symbolism, huh? And across the street from the fucking Starbucks, which is right next to the lotions and potion shop, across the street from the Starbucks is also a ice cream shop and a hot dog shop. Huh? Isn't that all pedophile code? And is it any wonder that there's a picture of a rabbit right next to these establishments?
Did you say hot dog and ice cream?
You know, my friend, thank you so much for everything that you do.
Hey man,
and
what's
thank
your
you
name?
for being out here. You're fantastic. What's your name?
Jake.
Jake, I'm Sammy.
I'm on YouTube. If you want, you can find me on YouTube. They deleted my shit, but I'm putting my stuff back up. Yellowstone Wolf on YouTube. You have to go on the channel, click channel, and then Yellowstone Wolf. Okay?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, my friend.
For sure, man.
God bless you.
Talking to you, man.
And yo, here's